In the early hours of night I opened up the app. There saw 1,000 fools online all spewing out their claptrap. Grabbed myself
What's
a
up,
coffee,
folks?
said a prayer
So
before
close.
the battle cracked.
My
My
God.
knuckles cleared my throat, prepared to scatter cattle. For the degenerates were posting of their filth, they all were boasting. Every sacred thing worth holding they were mocking and were roasting.
So close.
With my Bible and my wit, I refuse to let them sit, trying to humble every twit on the rocky road to TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down, expose him where he hides all the way through TikTok. Watch them fall tonight. First I found a skeptic who was proud of his rejection, thought he'd studied all the text but couldn't pass inspection. Threw his little arguments like pebbles at a tower, watched them bounce right off the walls and crumble in an hour. Oh, he stammered and he stuttered, every comeback that he muttered fell apart like stale bread that was moldy, torn and buttered. All his followers went quiet when they saw him lose the riot on the rocky road to TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down, expose him where he hides all the way through TikTok. Watch them fall tonight. Then there came a louder voice who loved his sin and pleasure, called the wicked things he did his freedom and his treasure. Said that God was just a myth, morality a prison, but he couldn't hold his ground once the actual bait had risen. No, his confidence was cracking, any substance he was lacking. Sent him home.
Smash that like button, share the live, ladies and gentlemen.
Serpent thought he had the juice, but I cooked him like a goose on the rocky road to TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down, expose him where he hides all the way through TikTok. Watch them fall tonight.
I like the standing desk. I need a better mat. Fatigue mat. I need it, or shoes, one of the two.
Now the comments started flying, all the heathens were uniting. Thought their numbers gave them power, thought they'd send me into hiding. But I've read the end already, know exactly how this goes. Every enemy of heaven always reaps just what he sows. So they came in waves like vermin, but I stood there never squirming. Gave them each a turn to speak, then sent them homeward burning. One by one they bit the dust, their arguments were rust on the rocky road to TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down, expose him where he hides all the way through TikTok. Watch them fall tonight.
If you don't want to bust a move, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Now the battle isn't over, there'll be more of them tomorrow. More who think their cleverness can save them from their sorrow. But I'll be there with the truth, unmovable and steady. Every serpent, every fool, I promise I'll be ready. So if you're feeling bold tonight and want to test your might, step into the ring with me, let's see if you can fight. But know that when you lose your ground and tumble all around, you got
I lose the chat all of a sudden?
sound on the rocky road to TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down, expose him where
Did I lose
he
it again?
hides all the way through TikTok.
Somebody say
Watch
something.
them fall tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the serpent, cut him down.
I think I did.
Expose him where he hides all the way through TikTok. Watch them fall tonight.
Oh, there we go.
Slowly
The Coward Hijab copyrighted God Logic's video. Did he really? Did he really? What a douche. What a douchebag. What a top level douchebag. Full on in the video it says, yeah, I give you permission. You could go live. You can record. You can do all the things. You can do it. You can do it. Although I'm taking this all on testimony. Testimony is not evidence. So he says that. Why can I hear myself? Playback happening. Hold on. Anyways, he says that. And then he takes it down. Copyright strike. Nope. Taking money out of my pocket. Out of my pocket. This is why I'm done with Islamic apologetics. I actually think I might be. Because Muslims are the worst. Good morning, John. I can believe Muslims are still using gaslighting. You'd think they'd have switched to something more advanced like electric or That's funny. That's good. Thank you all for praying for my job interview. I got the job and just got my first paycheck from it. What? That was fast. Here's some back your way, John. Thank you. See, prayers pay, guys. All I did was pray and I got paid. That's how it works. Speaking of prayers, let's do one. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings. Walk with us. Let your will be done. Allow us to have good conversations or not. Whatever you want, Lord, it's in your hands. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. God is good. I should have brought a hoodie. Brought a hoodie. I'm a little chilly. We'll see. I'll do some jumping jacks or something. Get going. Now I can stand. Standing desk's 100% worth it for sure, though. For sure. Yeah, they're going to flag it. Where's Abby? She's making coffee. She'll be here shortly. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine hosting a live and like, listen, I'm not going to lie. I've been tempted. There's some people who've made videos about me and I've been tempted. I'm like, copyright strike them. I could do it because they did it in poor taste, but screw it. What's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? Do you think my family is going to care at the end of the day? If like there's a video of me looking bad out there, you think they're really gonna? Oh, they're like gonna come on to us. John, I saw you got cooked. By generic Muslim 77. Oh, I'm not coming to family dinner. Not coming to family dinner because of that. I noticed you got cooked by generic Muslim 77. I'm not coming to dinner. But that is they think it's the end all be all. Most people I know in my personal life know I do this. They don't watch it. I don't care. None of them care. Let me copyright strike you. Because, you made me look bad. After he straight up said, you can go ahead and make content using this. You can record. You can go live right now. I give you permission, God Logic. I give you permission. No, that's crazy. That's crazy work. Smash the like button. Share the live, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing the same topic we've done for a long time. Convince me to stop worshiping Jesus when a taco. I'm not too sure if I'm going to switch that topic or not. I'm thinking about diving into politics. I know I've been talking about that for a while, but I think I might do it soon. We need those 20,000 likes before we start taking guests. I might play a song for you guys so I can go get a hoodie because I'm pretty chilly. It's pretty cold in here all of a sudden today. But I think I'm going to warm up. So I think I might just get like a throw over or something. So listen to the song. I'll be right back.
A cat named Bert with a fine mustache, most handsome feline in the whole darn Nash. He knocks on the door when he's locked outside, then climbs up your shoulder for a piggyback ride. Oh, Bert, everybody's friend, the love we have for you will never end. With your talking ways and your cuddly purr, you're the finest cats with the finest fur. He's got his favorite box where he likes to sit any square.
I don't know if I should have got a hoodie, but this looks fly as hell. Look at me. Gosh dang, I'm sexy. Whew. Listen, might be one of the dumbest apologists on the internet, but my God, am I not the most attractive? Tell me I'm wrong. All right, smash the like button and share the live. Do the things that you need to do to get out to the people that you need to get out to. We need the 20,000 likes before we start taking a guest. Today's topic, again, convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. I was going to say, convince me to stop worshiping a taco. I got to go click the go live on the shorts because, again, Abby's making coffee. So now head on over there and obviously We got to do
They're
this.
sending us out to the comment section, into the trenches with no protection. Where reason
Who's Bert?
dies
Someone
and
ban him.
chaos reigns. The Shorts Chat battlefield where nothing
Someone ban him.
remains. We
Coming in here
march
saying,
into
who's
the
Bert? What's wrong with
spam
you?
and the bots. The brain rot takes everyone we've got. 15 seconds of absolute hell. This is where good soldiers fell. We're going to the Shorts Chat where souls go to die. Moderating madness, saying our last goodbye. Send reinforcements, we won't make it back. Lost in the Shorts Chat, under attack.
Yeah, I'm returning this, Matt. I might do it today. It is too soft. It sinks in and it's just my knees collapse in and my back gets tight. So it's gotta go. It's gotta go. But I'll do for today. I can only stay in Shorts Chat for like 5 minutes. I don't blame you, bro. Imagine me. I gotta look at it all the time. It's constantly there, just on my screen. People reminding me how stupid I am. No, that is where the trolls live. The gross little trolls that live under bridges. They go into the Shorts Chat. That's where they go. So it's the segregation that I'm okay with. I'm okay with that type of segregation. Get on over there. All right, guys, smash that like button. My goodness gracious, we're a slow grow today. Shorts Chat is the asylum. Yep. What's up? Bert fanned the flames of the holy war and now is and is now in timeout. He's actually in timeout. Yeah. He pushed one of my speakers over today and he almost got sent to the Chinese food restaurant. Okay with what? I'm okay with what? What are you talking about? What am I talking about? What are you okay with what? I'm confused. What happened? What happened? Rather be stupid and be with Jesus, to be honest. Okay, I hear you. I agree with you. Don't say it again because you're not doing us any service out there. Did I see your message? No, I definitely did not see your message. Send it again. Hold on, I gotta activate that too. There we go. And that as well. Good. What denomination? I don't share my denomination. I'm done finals. You can now watch the Big John lives all you want. Yeah, just spell my name right, would you? Jesus is your savior. Same. Amen. Like, I don't know if every day I'm like, what's worse, the mat or the floor? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell which is worse, the mat or the floor. What's my Discord user? I'll send it there. Send what? What are you going to send? Don't send me. I don't know what you don't send me things. Unless, I don't know, unless it's money. You can send me money, but outside of that, getting old sucks. It really. Are you calling me old? Get a bath mat to stand on. I got like this, listen, like I didn't cheap out on the mat, like, but it's soft as hell. And I tried it out in the store. I'm like, this feels pretty good. But I think I need a harder mat. Getting nervous about what? The message for the website you said, and we talked about. Is that you that I'm messaging back and forth? I got to figure out some things, actually. I jumped the gun, and I was like, I'm going to do WordPress. Now I might not do WordPress. So I jumped the gun. So I got to figure out some things before I do a website for first of all, like who am I going to get to host it? You look forward to the show. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hey, look, it's Abby. Yeah, apparently WordPress is not it. Everybody told me that, but I got told too late. So I still have my domain name. I still have my host site, and I just got to find a way to attach it to another. I don't even know how to do any of those things, man. Don't know how to do any of those things. So we'll get the website made eventually. And we definitely need one. Okay. I think the mat's the way to go. I might just take my shoes off. I don't know. You got an issue with your left foot standing still at work. Sucks. Get a commercial kitchen anti-fatigue mat. They're the best. Where do I get one of those? because this is a kitchen anti-fatigue mat, but not a commercial one. Are you talking about the ones with the little holes in it? Because I almost bought one of those and I was like, this is really ugly though. It was really ugly, so I didn't. So I might just go back and do that. Squarespace? No, I need my own custom site. I can't have like a domain site where it's like, oh yeah, we're technically your website and you were just giving you a thing. Yeah, that kind. Okay, I will go get that one next because I did stand at it. I'm like, this is pretty great. Yeah, so I'll just switch that over. It was cheaper too, so yeah, I'll just go get one of those. I'll probably do that tonight. Switch it over. That'll solve all my issues. All my issues. Well, that assumes if I can find the receipt for this one. Allows the custom domain integrated code. I want my own site. That's the thing. I don't want a website that's like, yeah, we technically made your website, and if we go down, you go down. I don't want one of them. Don't want one of them. Does God share worship? It just might be that Jesus Christ is God. What? See a chiropractor? I have seen a chiropractor. They just crack your back. That's all they do. It's only temporary. It makes you feel good for about 2 days, and then you're back to normal. You want to build a site from scratch? Yeah. Yeah, I want my own website. I want my own source. That way, if YouTube gets taken down or whatever gets taken down, I have my own infrastructure. Now, I don't want my own server, not just yet. One day I'll get my own server and we'll do it that way. But I do want to build my own website. What are we at now? We're at... How many likes? 10,000 likes. We're halfway there, guys. We need 20,000 likes. I have no idea where we're at for the dono because Abby's not at her job yet. You can help with the back end stuff. Listen, I'll be in the Discord tonight. Anybody who wants to like come in and help me with that, we'll figure it out. We'll figure that out. Get it done. Hint, Revelation 1:7. When I saw him, I fell at his feet, though dead. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last." What's going on here? What's going on here? The one night I'm busy. John, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I checked your schedule. It said you were busy. I'm like, tonight's the night to do it. I'll join for TOS and privacy policy stuff, John. Sure. Listen, I need as much information as I can get. We got a lot of people in the queue, by the way, guys. We just don't have 20,000 likes. So if you want us to start bringing up guests, get to smashing those likes, get to getting it done. Where would the taco be from? Generally, what happens is you just order a taco and I pay for it. I'll join to bother you. You usually your existence bothers me. Just the fact that I know you're out there somewhere breathing annoys me. There's actually somebody I knew back in the past. I really didn't like this person. And like, I remember sitting there once and hearing this person breathe and it genuinely made me angry. And I had to get up and leave because I was like, and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I can't listen to that person breathe anymore. They're like, why? I'm like, because it makes me mad. And they're like, they died. They're like, wow, that's savage. I really didn't like that person though. In all fairness, that person did grape a friend of mine. So there's good reason to not like that person. We have 94 likes, only 19,906 left to go. Not on YouTube, you silly goose. On TikTok. TikTok needs 20,000 likes. I had a wife I felt that way about. My goodness gracious. I could never, the sound of my wife's breathing puts me to sleep. It's just the sweet sound of angels. Are you kidding me? You're a wife out of all people? Wow. That's crazy work. That's crazy. All right, guys, keep smashing the like button. We're almost there. 12,000 likes. We have people in the queue. So we just need those likes because I need your help to make sure that we get out to the people that we need to get out to. And if you're watching on YouTube, you should have also hit those likes. Simp, I'm 100% a simp for my wife. 100%. I actually had somebody who wanted to debate me on whether or not I was a simp. Actually reached out to me. He's like, you're a simp, and I want to debate you to prove that you're a simp. And I was like, well, debate one, I am. Simp for my wife every single day. Work them thumb muscles, TikTok. Amen. Is there any proof that Jesus resurrected? There sure is. Sure is. If you love your wife, you're gay, Andrew Tate. Yeah, that's pretty gay. Hi, baby. Had a wife, Mormon confirms. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Wow. That's crazy work. Well, watch this. Boom. Now you're permanently blocked. You say some wild stuff like that, you can get lost. You can get lost. You can get lost. Oh, I'm so clever and edgy. Oh, I trolled them. Well, congratulations. Now you're never welcome here again. Well done. We got those 20,000 likes. Yeah, well, I'm kind of still waiting on Abby too. Hurry up, Abby. Hurry up. Because she's doing the timestamps. Speak or preach in public with a kiss. What? What? You changed membership logos. I did change the membership logos. These are just temporary though, until I hire somebody to make proper ones for this channel. So that is a plan. We're going to make proper ones specifically for this channel. We're going to do emojis specifically for this channel. Right now, these ones are just temporary, generic ones that will hold until we do it. But yeah, you got some new emojis and you got some new membership logos. You've been watching for 3 years. That's what's up. That's what's up. How many of us did seek God humbly and found Jesus Christ? Yeah, right. Yeah. He is after likes. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like that's the job. Wow. Hey, did you know that the guy selling coffee at the coffee store is after money? Did you know that? Did you know that the only reason he's selling you coffee is to get money? It's almost like people who influence, who are a part of like influencer channels. They need the likes to keep the channel going. That's crazy work. Couldn't be me. Thank you, baby. You've been watching for 4 days? Well, welcome to the sadness. Welcome. John needs money to survive. Lame. Super lame. Super lame. All right, let's bring up a guest. It's like the same 3 people like wait for my channel to come up and they're like, oh, I'm here. Let's do the same nonsense again. Right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, I'm
all right. I'm 20 years old. I'm going to ask a simple question, right?
All right.
Is Jesus Christ fully good?
Truly, fully doesn't work.
Look, I never asked that, right? I asked if he's fully good, right? So is Jesus Christ fully good?
Yeah, again, that doesn't work. Sentence doesn't make sense. What does the color purple taste like?
Look, it's a simple question.
So is mine a simple question. What's the color purple taste like?
It's a very simple question, right?
Yeah, so is mine. What's the color purple taste like?
Look. You asked. That's fallacy. Right?
Fallacy. Name a fallacy.
You've asked me a question with a question, right?
Ask, not axe. Ask.
And I've asked, right? And I'll answer your question once you answer my question, right?
Yeah. No. You answer my question first. What does the color purple taste like? Look.
I asked you a question, and you're simply dodging the question.
You're dodging the question. You're scared to answer the question.
You're clearly insecure, right?
You're clearly insecure.
Look. I've asked you a simple question.
I asked you a simple question.
Is Jesus fully God?
Is Jesus fully God? Okay, I'll answer that as soon as you tell me what the color purple tastes like.
Well, I've asked you the question first, right?
I asked you the question second.
Logic would say in a conversation, you would answer my question first, right?
Show me the rule. Show me the rule that says the person who has a question asked to them first has to answer first. You show me where that's written as an inference rule, man, I will buy you your taco. Go ahead. Look.
I asked you a simple question. You cannot answer my simple question.
Yeah, because it's a category error.
Therefore, I know 100% you do not even believe what you preach.
It's a category error. What's the color? What's the color purple taste like?
You don't believe what you're saying, right?
What's the color purple taste like?
Is Jesus fully God?
It's a category error. Can't answer the question. Doesn't make sense.
Of course it makes sense, right? He can either be fully God or he can't be fully God, right? It's a very simple question. Is Jesus?
It doesn't make sense.
Fully God?
Right. Okay. What percentage of God is there?
I understand. Let me dumb it down.
No. I'm going to show you how your argument is stupid and why you're stupid for saying
100%
it. Hold on. 100, there's 100% of God. There's a percentage of God.
Yes, that is what fully
God
means,
has a
right?
percentage?
That is the definition of fully, right?
So that implies that there could be
100%.
99% of God, right?
Is Jesus 100%
Hold on.
fully God?
Hold on. So you're saying that there could be percentages of God?
Look, I've asked you a simple question, right?
I'm asking you a simple question.
Is Jesus fully God?
I don't think you
And
can
you've
have
asked me
percentages
5
of God.
different questions, right?
I don't think you can. I'm
I'm
answering your question. I don't think you can have percentages of
with a
God.
question, right? Can you answer a question with a question?
I don't think you can have percentages of
Does it
God.
make sense?
I'm
I've yet to
answering.
meet
All
a
right.
Christian.
Listen. I'm going to answer your question. Right? I don't think you can have percentages of God.
Look, that's not my question, right? My
It is your question.
was, no, it's not, right? I didn't ask if you can have percentage of God, right? That's a silly thing to say, right? I asked, is Jesus fully 100% God?
Are you
It's
fully?
a very simple question, right?
Are you fully straight?
Look, I can't be half straight or fully straight at the same time, right? It's a simple question.
Are you fully straight?
It's a very simple question, right?
Yeah, it is
And
a simple question.
the
Are
fact
you
that you've
fully
asked me
straight?
5 different questions.
Are you
the fact
fully
that you've
straight?
asked me- Listen, the fact that you've answered my question with a question proves insecurity, right? Simple question. Exactly. Answer the question. Is Jesus fully God?
This sentence doesn't make sense.
The sentence doesn't make sense.
No,
And how does the sentence not make sense?
because God isn't made up of percentages. You can't have
So
a
how does
percent
it,
of
how
an
does the
eternal
sentence,
thing.
right, I understand that, right?
Mhm.
But how does this sentence not make sense?
The sentence doesn't make sense. It's incoherent. It cannot be answered.
Of course it can be answered, right? It's
Uh-huh.
either he's not fully God
Okay,
or
great.
he is
All
fully
right,
God, right?
prove
There's
to me it
two
can be
answers.
answered. Hold on, prove it to me it can be answered. Is Allah fully God?
Look, if you want me to change
Why
the
can't
question,
you
I can
answer
change
the question? Is
right?
Allah fully God?
Because you answer my question with a question.
Wow, runner! Is Allah fully God?
Look, it's clear you're running away and
Is
you're doing
Allah fully
psychological
God?
projection, right?
Is Allah
Which is-
fully God?
Because you are running away.
Why
you
won't
are
you
trying
answer
to
the
make it look
question?
like I
If
am
it's a
running
simple question, you said it's a simple question. Anybody can answer it, right?
away.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So,
So why have
proof.
you answered my-
I don't think it can be. Can you prove to me it can be answered? Is Allah fully God?
I'll prove to you it can be answered, right?
Yeah.
It's either yes, he's fully God, or no, he's not fully God.
So is
So
Allah
which
fully
one
God?
is it? Which one is it?
So is Allah fully God?
Look, I've just proved to you it can be answered, right?
Okay?
So
Prove
give
it to
me
me.
an answer.
Is Allah fully God? Answer the
I
question.
have just proved it to you, right?
Prove
Maybe
it to
you
me.
don't have-
Which one is it? Is Allah fully God?
Look, you clearly don't have rational sense, right? Because I've given you 2 answers it could be. There's no other possibility, right? There's no in between, right? It's either
Ladies and
We started off
gentlemen,
strong, ladies and gentlemen.
Boys and girls, step right up and witness the silliest goose you've ever seen. You walked in here with your shoes untied.
Is that good?
Tripped on nothing, fell on your pride. Tried to play it cool, but we all saw you are the silliest goose, that's the law. You spilled your drink on your own shirt, then blamed the cup, made it worse. Everything you touch turns to chaos.
Imagine being that stupid and then having the confidence to be like, "Yeah, I cooked." Imagine, couldn't be me. All right. Oh my God, it's just the 2 idiots. That's all we got in the queue right now. The 2 morons. I should actually ban them, to be honest. They're so freaking stupid. Okay, let's try this. Hello there. Hello there. How are you? And just real quick, how old are you? The person's name is hello there.
Hello?
Yes. Hello. How are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm doing great. I'm 22. I'm watching the stream. Man, I love it.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
You know, I'm gonna try. I really am gonna try. You know, I gotta ask you a question. Why'd God stop doing all those miracles? He was
Bro's obviously trolling. All right, guys, smash the like button, share live, do the things that you need to do. Let's try to get some actual guests with like some brain cells. up in here today. That would be great. I'd just like to have a real conversation, not with some douchebags or some rhetoric. Mm-hmm.
What's up, man?
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
21.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
No, because I'm a Christian, but I have one question for you, please. If you give me the chance. Please, 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 please.
Let me tell you something.
Hi.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
23.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yes.
Okay.
Premise 1, Jesus has a God, and he acknowledges him as the one true
Okay,
God.
hold on. We're doing premises. Okay, 1 second. Oh, wrong one. This one. Okay. Let's go. Like 50. 1. Jesus has God.
No, for one put, he says the Father is the only true God. John 17:3.
Okay, so what's the first premise?
Jesus says the Father is the only true God.
Okay, Jesus says the Father is the only true God. Okay.
Second premise, Jesus says he's going to my God and your God. So he has a God.
To my God and your God. Okay. And then is it a
So-
conclusion or a third premise?
I mean, we can conclude it at that. So
Okay, what's the conclusion?
So the conclusion is that Jesus acknowledges his God as the only true God. So you have two options here. You can
Hold on. Acknowledges Jesus. Oh, sorry. Acknowledges who?
the Father as the one true God that he worships.
As the one true God he worships.
So there's only
Okay,
two
so
ways you can resolve this.
So hold on.
Hold on. Let me just finish.
Hold on. We brought up your argument, and I just tell you right now, your argument is not valid.
Why is that?
Well, you don't have an antecedent, you don't have a consequent, right? That follow in the second premise. So the first premise requires an antecedent and a consequent. The second premise requires the antecedent, and then the third premise or the conclusion will require the consequent.
Okay.
So this is just not a valid argument.
We'll
It just doesn't
summarize it.
follow.
We'll summarize it since okay, buddy. So we can erase that. Jesus says the Father is the one true God.
Okay, so we're going to keep the first premise.
Yep. Jesus worships the Father.
Okay.
So the conclusion is that if you don't worship the Father alone, you're a polytheist.
Okay. Again, it's not valid.
How's it not valid?
Not a valid argument. Again, you need an antecedent and a consequent. The consequent has to be in the conclusion. The consequent also has to be in the first premise.
It is.
No.
Jesus says the Father is only true God. So if you worship anyone but the Father, you're worshiping the false God.
Yeah, again, the argument doesn't follow. Which inference
How does it
rule are
not
we
follow?
following? Which inference rule is this? If this is a valid argument, which inference rule?
What?
Modus ponens?
Yeah,
Okay,
obviously,
so
right?
so if this is modus ponens, so it's like if P, sorry, I did capitals there, so it's going to be if P, then Q, P, so this modus ponens, P, therefore Q. So what is P in this situation?
Okay. Since you want to play this game. Okay. Jesus has a God.
Are we redoing The argument?
Hold on. You see how I gotta reword it just because you're trying to avoid it? Jesus worships the Father. So if you worship anyone other than the Father, that's not the true God.
Again, that's not valid.
Bro, address the argument, man.
Yeah, it's not a good argument. It's not valid. It doesn't logically
Why?
follow.
How's it not a good argument? You should be able to refute it easily.
I don't need to refute it because it's not a valid argument. For me to refute it, it has to be valid. You brought up primacy.
Okay,
You're the one who
Jesus-
came up and said primacy. So if
Jesus
you want to go
has a
down that
God.
route, we'll go down that
Jesus-
route.
Jesus has a God.
Yep.
And he says that Father is the only true God. So if you don't worship the Father, you worship a
Jesus
false God.
has God. Is that the first primacy, or is there more to it?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, Jesus has a God.
He says his God is the only true God.
Jesus says his God is the only true God. Okay.
So if you don't worship Jesus' God, you have a false God.
That, again, doesn't logically follow.
Bro, yes it does. What's
doesn't.
wrong with the argument?
So
Tell me what's wrong with it.
Yeah, tell me what the P and the Q is here. You wanted to use modus ponens.
What do you mean? Yeah, the P,
Yeah.
Jesus is God.
Okay.
And the Q is your God.
What? That
Bro. Address the argument, bro. Like, why are
there's
you
no
playing
argument to address.
Okay, take it off.
Okay.
Why does Jesus say worship the Father is the only true God?
Questions aren't arguments.
So you don't follow Jesus.
That's a claim.
Okay, I got one for you. Jesus says the Father is the only true God. Second premise, Jesus
also,
never
okay.
asks you to worship him.
Jesus
Therefore,
says
not
F
God.
is TG. Okay. Second premise.
Jesus never asks for worship.
Jesus never asks for W. Conclusion.
Conclusion is he can't be God.
Jesus can't be G. Okay. Oh, so what you'd say TG because that'd be there. Okay. Again, doesn't follow. Because you see how W, so W there is your Q. You see how W is only in the second premise?
Yeah, the conclusion goes in line with the first premise. What are you talking about?
Right. You need a second premise to substantiate your first premise.
Okay. Jesus says the Father is his God. There. Now Jesus can't be the only true God.
That is the first premise. You can't. You're doubling
No,
your premises.
Jesus
so
says the
that's
Father
circular.
is the only true God. Now
Jesus
the
says
second
Father
premise
is true
that
God. Yeah.
Jesus says that that's his God. So he can't be God because he has a God.
Yeah. So again, the first and second premise are tautology, so it wouldn't work.
Bro, that's a sound argument. What are you talking about? Jesus
Well, no,
says the
it's not
Father is the
sound.
only true God.
The word you're looking
Jesus
for is
says
valid.
the Father is his God.
The
Conclusion, Jesus can't be God.
The word
What's
you're looking
not
for.
sound about it?
The word you're looking for is valid, not sound. It's a valid argument, and
It's
it's not
sound and
valid.
valid.
And it's not valid because the first and second premise are tautology.
Okay, why is it not sound and valid? That's still that makes it valid.
Because the first and second premise is a tautology.
So what?
Then it makes it invalid.
How?
Because you're just repeating the first premise in different ways.
Not necessarily.
It's
The
basically
first one,
basically you just have one premise.
not really. The first one says Jesus says the Father is the only true God.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he worships him or that it's his God. The second one, Jesus is saying that it's his God. So he's saying this God that he worships is the only true God. So he can't be God. There's literally nothing wrong with the argument.
The Father is his God.
His God. Yep.
Right.
So,
then,
Jesus can be God.
okay. So if it's just about his God, then again, the argument isn't valid because you see how
What do
you
you
have
mean?
because you see how you have HG in the second premise and TG in the first premise, and then TG is only in the conclusion.
It's not only his God, bro. It's everyone's God. I'm using it to emphasize that he also included himself in that.
I'm just telling you the argument's not valid. Doesn't work.
It is. You're just
Okay,
coward.
then which
it's
which
embarrassing.
inference rule is it if it's valid?
Modus ponens.
Okay, so modus ponens is if P then Q, right? P therefore Q. That's modus ponens,
Yep.
right?
Jesus has a God.
Okay.
Therefore, he's not God.
Right. Okay. So Jesus says F is TG. This would be your P. And this would be your Q. Got it? Right? Jesus says F. This again is your P. But then you have HG. So this here would be your Z. So it's not a modus ponens.
Okay, take off the first premise, bro. God damn. There.
You can't have an argument with this. All right, man. I appreciate your time. You tried your best. God
You
bless.
suck. You literally scared to address it. That's embarrassing.
You tried your best. Now, I want to go on record. He's the one who brought up premises. So. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 18. And I'm doing pretty good.
All right, man. Why should I stop worshiping Jesus?
To be honest, I worship Jesus as well, and I just got a question. I'm just confused on this one part. So I was doing.
Got a question. I sure hope you don't got a question.
I don't have a question.
All right.
I'm here to
How old are you?
engage in conversation.
How old are you?
I am 25.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, here's how I'm going to start this, right? Because I think a lot of people come in here with the wrong mindset on how to tackle this. I think people join and they say like, oh, well, God, how does he allow a bunch of sick kids? But I think that's the wrong approach because God could just be evil. So that's the wrong approach. We need to see it from the perspective of like, God is just doing weird stuff, I think. You know? You ever read the Bible? He's doing weird stuff. Is that crazy? I feel like some of the stuff he's doing is crazy. 2 of every animal on an ark, big boat in the middle of a flood. That's insane. That's a crazy idea. That's not efficient. Why didn't he just strike lightning on all the sinners and take care of them? Why'd he have to do this whole flood thing with all the animals and the boat? Like, it just makes no sense to me. It's not making...
Obvious troll is obvious troll. The weird stuff fallacy. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, and I'm 36.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. So Jesus states in the book of John that he can do nothing by his own authority, so he cannot perform miracles without the Father's help. He even states at the end of John that I'm going to your Father and my Father, your God and my God. So why are you worshiping the one who has no authority unless it was given to him by God?
That's perfectly in line with the Trinitarian point of view. Why should I reject it?
So Jesus says in the book of Mark, he says, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except God alone."
Mhm.
And if Jesus is the one that does not have authority to, like, well, I mean, he by himself he lacks the authority to do miracles.
Just real quick in that sentence, right? Just strictly speaking, when somebody says, "Why do you call me good? No one is good but God alone." What in that sentence specifically removes him from the category of good?
So the young man, there was a young rich man that was talking to him.
I know the
called him
story.
good teacher.
I know the story.
Right. He said, "Good teacher, I've followed all the commandments." And Jesus said, "Why do you call me good?" Because Jesus does not follow the commandments, because he even nullifies the law by fulfilling it in quotation marks.
Can I just ask you how you think that answered my question?
Well, he's saying, "Why do you call me good?" Because he does not meet the criteria of being good.
Do you think that answers my question?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you repeat my question?
You're saying what qualifies or what disqualifies Jesus as being a good person just because he asked, "Why do you call me good?"
No. So you didn't answer my question. I said, what in that specific sentence removes Jesus from the category of good?
His inability to follow the commandments. Because if the rich young man is saying,
okay, so did I ask other places? I said in that specific sentence, what in that sentence removes Jesus from the category of being good?
Jesus is responding to the young man calling him good teacher.
Yeah.
And so him saying, "Why do you call me good?" is almost like a subtle confession, like, why are you calling me good? That
just seems like your interpretation. Can you tell me specifically, like just in that sentence, what removes Jesus?
He said no one is good except God alone. Like, you have sentence structure, comprehension.
Yeah. So if no one is good but God alone, and Jesus is God, he'd be in the category of good. Yeah.
He's not God. We just described in the book of John that he said, "I'm going to your God and my God."
That's begging the question.
He prays in the Garden of Gethsemane.
Hold on.
Lord,
I need you to take a breath. I don't know why you're spazzing. All right. So it's begging the question, because the thing that we're arguing right now is whether or not Jesus is God. So you saying, "Well, he's not God," doesn't convince me, right? Because that's what you're trying to convince me of. So you can't just say, "Well, yeah, he's not God, so therefore he can't be saying he's God there." That doesn't make sense. So again, if Jesus is in the category of God, would he also be in the category of good?
Ooh, well then, if we want to say,
don't answer my question with a question, God, please.
No, I'm building up to it, because
just answer. If Jesus is in the category of God, like Jesus is God, would he also be in the category of good?
No, because his God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which allowed the essay of little girls, like in Deuteronomy chapter 21.
So that's an external critique. We're doing an internal critique, right?
That is an internal critique, because God, his Father, has had patterns of behavior.
So in the internal critique, God is good.
If he is the God of the Old Testament,
that's an external critique.
Is not good.
That's an external critique. In the internal world, the internal confines of the Christian paradigm, is God good?
No, because John chapter 6,
you're arguing in bad faith, so I appreciate your time.
No, because he says you cannot make it to Jesus unless the Father enables you. So you cannot for so long.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. You're arguing in bad faith. You're trying to jump between an internal and an external critique and not actually engaging in the argument. So God bless. Mike, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 30.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Never will. I can't, and I never will, buddy. I don't know how many people are actively going to get across to you with that one, but I can challenge you. I have some ideas. Let me see where you stand with worship and what you mean by worship first.
Sure. Yeah, worship is just aligning yourself with the highest possible good.
Awesome, dude. Love good. It's a great worship. But some people think worship's like their hands, right? The act versus the intention. Like, think Amish folk, right? Great people, seriously. But does that type of worship actually work, do you think? Or you're not part of that? You're not like, I guess you kind of, it's vague the way you approached it, but good is good.
It's not vague. It's literally what worship is. It's aligning yourself with something and striving to that as the highest possible good.
Yeah, aligning yourself to the highest possible good can be defined as worship. but don't you think like
That is what worship is.
I think worship, if you're talking about like Jesus,
Dog, what's your
it's
argument?
more like it's like mercy, right? It's repentance and
Dog,
mercy.
what's your
It's not-
argument?
what's my argument?
Yeah.
No, I'm just telling you, like your version of worship isn't actually like the standard version of worship that like people go millions, billions, we'll say billions of people worship differently.
Okay, so
for
what's
you
your
to-
argument?
That your version of worship can actually be broken by how actual vague you're being about it. Because the good is great. And if you want to talk Gnostic and you want to go to Pleroma and you want to go talk Monad and you want to talk God the Father, you want to talk Holy
John, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Noah was repopulating with his kids, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Which one? Oh yeah, I think it actually is, considering today.
Who let the trolls out? 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 A grown man tied that with his whole chest. Somebody's father is currently doing this. He practiced that in the mirror beforehand. Imagine telling your kids that story. Who let the trolls out? 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 Oh wow, that's edgy. You must be exhausting. A fully formed adult chose this as a hobby. He thought that landed, bless his little heart. Sir, this is a panel, not a cry for help. Who let
There
the
you go.
trolls out?
As yapping and they were not hearing a word.
Oh, hold on just one second. Gifting suspended and live visibility restricted. Gift suspended and live restricted in your recommended and search results for 10 minutes due to reproduced content, such as pre-recorded or copied content. I'll learn more in the live monetization guidelines and TikTok live section. I own the music. I'm going to send the appeal. But if not, we'll just turn off the music for TikTok, which will be very weird when I play songs for everyone
And we
else.
dance.
And we dance. We're just dancing, and they're like, "What the hell are they doing?" Dancing to me. We have no one else in the queue. May the Lord bless us with somebody who actually wants to engage in a good conversation and a good faith debate, not try to jump in and out of like internal and external critiques, who actually has a genuine argument, who actually wants to navigate. May the Lord bless us today with those types of conversations, because I'm setting boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not dealing with your stupidity anymore. If you come up like a douchebag, you're going to get treated like a douchebag. I feel your pain with dyslexia. I'm dyslexic too. It takes a lot for me to make sure that jokes are spelled right. I'm so dyslexic, in fact, I went shopping at the YMCA thinking it was Macy's. I listen, finding out I was dyslexic is a very new thing to me.
I'd just like to say I've been saying it for years, and then Stryker started saying it, and he believed him.
Try and stop the super chat, YouTube. I dare you. They can't do it. Don't dare them, actually. No, knock on wood. Lord, I rebuke that in Jesus' name. Yeah. All right, guys. Smash the like button, share live, do things that you need to do. Harry, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm 24.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Maybe. I'm curious what you would think about this argument. I've got two premises and a conclusion.
Oh, we're gonna go formal. Okay.
Awesome. The first one would be that if God is all loving and all powerful, then He would not have allowed slavery in Israel. He allowed slavery in Israel, so therefore he's not all good and all living.
One second.
God bless.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Well, I'd say it's valid. So therefore, hey man, congratulations! You're first person to bring up a valid argument.
We got it. We got it.
So hold on, I put in there. So there we go. So valid argument. I just denied premise one.
Yeah. You. What about premise one? Are you denying?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know why God being all loving means that he would not have allowed slavery.
Well, I think it's probably because slavery's like pretty bad, right?
I think it can be bad. I also think it can be good. Hey, my appeal was proved.
What would be an example of like an instance where you would say like slavery is good?
Sure. Yeah. Prisoners of war, prisoners in general, and then like indentured servitude, military service. These will all be types and forms of like slavery.
Gotcha. I don't know that I would necessarily say that like a prisoner and a slave would be of the kind of the same thing.
Can you tell me what separates them?
Yeah, typically like a prisoner is someone has their like rights restricted for like a certain period of time until like some kind of penance or like time served has been.
Not all of them.
Like
some
satisfied.
Some of them are for life.
And some of them are for life, but it's usually because that they've like done something really, really terrible. Whereas like a slave doesn't necessarily have that choice if they're
a prisoner
like,
of war.
For example,
what about a prisoner of war? Because prisoners of war generally don't do things terrible.
Well, from their perspective, but if they've gone in and attacked another country and are captured, right? That's part of the decision that they've made. They've been on the offensive just as much, right?
Yeah, usually you can be met in war, right? And it could be two parties that both are like, for all intents and purposes, good people, but they disagree on a fundamental core idea. And then when you capture them, you have to make them prisoners of war for all intents and purposes. That makes them slaves. But I still don't see the ontological difference between like a prisoner and a slave.
I think that there's like a free will aspect to it as well. If you wind up like being a prisoner because you've committed a crime, or as a prisoner of war because you've elected I'm trying to catch myself because that doesn't necessarily include like draftees, right? But I would still say that there's like a difference between like I guess being caught and captured and versus a situation where maybe like you didn't have even the choice to begin with, and yet you've been like captured and forced to be a slave. I think that there's a big difference between that and
right. But a prisoner is somebody who's captured and forced to be a slave. A slave is somebody who's captured and forced to be a slave. What is the difference?
Well, I think that there's
Like, it just seems, like I said, sometimes slavery can be bad, sometimes slavery be good. It seems like you're okay with slavery as long as the person who's being enslaved deserves it, right? You just don't like using the word slave.
No, not necessarily. Not in the slavery kind of sense, especially because I think the big thing is too is when someone's a prisoner, at least like I live in like the United States, for example. There are certain rules and things and rights to an extent that like prisoners have that like
slaves had certain
right?
Slaves had certain rights and rules that was given to them.
In the Bible, I think there are some, but that's not the
even in the Code of Hammurabi, they had certain rights and rules. Right, they weren't great, but they had them.
But they were the for example, like the ones in the codes of Hammurabi were more about like the protection of like the owner's like property. It was kind of like insurance. It wasn't really
Yeah,
about like
yes,
the rights
yes
that
and
the
no.
slaves had. It was more
Yes,
insurance
yeah,
like
yes and no.
purposes, right?
But either way, you would still say that the slaves who have rights in the scripture are still slaves,
Mhm.
right?
Well, sure, but again, those rules were more about like were less about like the
No,
rights that they
no.
experienced.
For
And
example, there's a rule that if you beat your slave and they lose an eye or a tooth, you're to set them free. How does that protect the owner?
well, that one I was talking specifically about with like the Hammurabi thing.
Yeah, but I said in scripture, so I meant the Bible, right? So in the Bible, you would say that person is a slave that they're not treating right. You'd say that's not a good thing, but they still have rights. And so a prisoner also has certain specific rights that are given to them. So I'm not seeing like a difference between the two. Oh, I lost you. I don't know if you left or if you disconnected. If you reconnect, you'll because you were in, it should bring you right to the front of the line. So I'll give you a second to reconnect. If not, I'll jump on. We'll give it a second. Maybe you just lost your Wi-Fi. It's way better coffee than I made myself yesterday. I don't think he quit. He didn't seem like
really
he
nice.
seemed like he was engaging good. I don't think he quit or ran. I think he probably just lost connection.
Yeah, that happens.
It does happen. You can tell when people just like dip out.
There's usually an awkward pause.
Okay, so nobody, Ian, notepad. I did steal the idea of using the notepad from Ian. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a good idea, and I took it for myself.
This is a good idea.
It's a great idea. Then you could see the argument on paper.
This is very helpful.
Yeah. And then you don't get lost. And there's a few, and I think back to a few arguments that I've had with people where it's like they presented an argument, I wrote it down on paper, and then they changed the argument, and then we're in a big argument about what the argument is. If it's just on the screen, you can't argue.
Yeah.
So
we were watching Ian the other day.
okay, Lamb apologetics. I didn't say his usage of it was good. I said the idea of the notepad was good. And that's where I got the ideas from watching. For you guys don't know, Lamb Apologetics had a debate with Ian. I watched it. I think it was very good. I rewatched it again last night, by the way. And I left the comment. I think he was trying to bury you in semantics, right? Rather than engaging in the argument. But I think the idea of the notepad was really great. So I stole it from that specific live.
Did he come back?
No, I'm moving on now.
Too bad.
He was a nice guy. So I don't know how to say your name, but hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hi, you can call me Riding Shotgun.
Okay.
I'm 34.
All right, man.
Yes, 34.
Yeah, can
I'm
you
old enough that I can't remember anymore.
All right, we're the same. We're like the same age, so don't say those things. All right, can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, I actually have I have an interesting take, a little bit of a deviation, if that's okay. Why does it matter who you worship or who I worship? Why does it matter? Why is the debate important?
Okay. The debate is important because who we worship aligns with who we are as individuals and how we operate in a society, how we vote, how we integrate into each other, and how we generally confined at the town square, so to speak.
Okay, so is it possible so are those all factors and behaviors that you consider qualities of a good person?
Well, that depends, right? If God doesn't exist, I don't think good people exist.
That's interesting. So if I don't worship God, then I'm incapable of doing good?
Different thing. If God does not
Okay.
exist, I do not think good exists in general. I think it's just an arbitrary ad hoc idea. If God exists, good exists, and whether you worship him or not, that good is still ontologically out there.
Right. So whether you worship him or not, good is in the world.
It's an ontological reality.
So that sounds like it does not matter whether I worship him or you worship him because there is good. Is that right?
No, because God is that good.
Okay, but well, you just said that if that I don't understand. So why does worshiping change the quality of that good?
What do you mean?
God is that good, right?
Mhm.
So then, sorry, just trying to put my thoughts together. I had all
Yeah,
this time
take
in
your time.
queue. So, but whether you worship him or not, whether you worship Jesus or not,
Uh-huh.
he is still good and he did good things, right? And you are still capable of good things. So why does it matter? Why is the act of worship important to
So,
this?
because God is good. So when you worship the highest possible good, you're aligning yourself with what is good, and you're moving towards what we call sanctification, being the highest possible form of good. You can't achieve that highest possible form without being in alignment with God. That's the Christian worldview.
So does that change your behavior? Is that what does
That would
the
be
act of
that
worship
would be
change
an
your other
aspect, yeah.
behaviors?
That would be an
Right?
aspect of it, sure.
Because I mean, I was born and raised Catholic. What I forgot to ask, what denomination of Christian are you coming from?
I don't share my denomination.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. It's beside the point anyway. But I was born and raised Christian. We used to always have a joke that going to church makes you a good Christian, like standing in a garage makes you a car.
I agree with that, yeah.
Right?
You can even see my wife nodding her head to that.
Right? It's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think that you can be a good person by worship without any worship, or if you're worshiping other religions and all kinds of things. It's not
Just one sec.
determinism about being a good person.
Just one sec. Yeah, I got another copyright strike, guys. Or not for like saying I'm making up things. So just let me appeal that quick. I keep getting striked on my TikTok all the time. No matter what I do, they keep striking me for what stupid reasons, because it's like an AI system. Yeah, so good. You could be a good person for like societal purposes, sure, but you'll never achieve the highest possible form of good without being in alignment with God. It cannot be done. That is the story of Genesis, right? Like the Genesis story is that we decide that we want to do it on our own. God allows us to do that. He separates himself from us, and then we can never achieve that highest form of good without him.
So if someone has achieved that highest form of good, how do I tell? What behaviors do I see that I know that that they are the best person?
Well, you'd say that'd be the Galatians. You'd see the fruits of the Spirit, right? If they encapsulate that, that'd be the best possible person. But where chances are of us achieving that?
Can you explain that a little bit more? I'm not as read up.
Yeah. So just one second.
The fruit of
fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. This represents the character of Christ and the Holy Spirit. This would be the evidence of you being a good Christian. And then you could also read the Sermon on the Mount, which is Jesus's commandments to us, operating in that. When you align yourself with Christ, that's what should come from it, right? That's what you should see. But for us to perfectly achieve that, I don't think it's going to happen just in this lifetime. We continue our path and walking with Christ even in the next life.
So if I see someone embodying those qualities, that means they must be worshiping Jesus.
Yeah. So
is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
means?
It means that they're aligning themselves with God. So like there's this like orthodox viewpoint, whether you agree with it or not, that there are people who can be saved and who can walk with God unknowingly doing so because they represent the fruits of God. Right? Jesus talks about this specifically too, where people are out casting out demons and doing it works. And they're like, well, they're not doing it in your name. Should we rebuke them? And Jesus rebukes the people who are rebuking him, are trying to rebuke them, saying they are working with us, right? Why would you rebuke them? So there's clearly good works that are operating within them. So somebody could be ignorant towards the fact that they're in alignment and that they're worshiping Christ, but they are doing that. But the one thing that they are missing is that like intimate relationship that would bring them to that next level.
So what difference does that next level accomplish?
Aligning yourself with the highest possible good.
What difference does that make? What does that mean?
It means being in alignment with God for eternity.
But that's not defined. That's using the previous statement in the definition. I don't understand. That doesn't add clarity here.
I don't what are you missing?
So I think the debate of who we worship is not nearly as important as what behaviors do we want to see in society.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Right. I think that's just a temporal satisfaction.
Okay, but when I first asked you, why is it important that I worship Jesus? What was your answer? Do you remember?
No, you didn't
Because
ask.
it
Your
influences
specific,
who you.
your specific
I said,
question
why
is
does it
why.
matter to you whether or not I worship Jesus?
Your specific question is why does it matter what we worship?
Okay, so why does it matter that we worship Jesus specifically?
Yeah, why it matters we worship Jesus specifically because it puts you in alignment with God, which gets you a relationship with the creator of the universe and gives you an eternal
also said that
connection
it
to what is good.
You also said that it influences who you vote for and how you carry yourself through the world. Those sound like
as a
behaviors
society,
to me.
right? As a societal thing, because if we're going back to the question, why should we worship? Right? I worship Jesus, and I get all those behaviors, and I get those aspects of how we operate in the world. Plus, I get in alignment with the greatest possible good. Other people, you're going to worship something. There's going to be something that you put worship in. And the thing that you put worship in is going to affect how you operate in the world. And that's why it's important from a societal perspective to focus on everybody's worshiping, because we all have a form of worship. But from the Christian paradigm, our form of worship also aligns us with the highest possible good, puts us connection with that, and gives us an eternal security in being in his presence.
So do you feel that acts of kindness and charity are acts of worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I think that's true.
I agree. I think that's a good thing to do regardless of whose name you do it in. You were just citing a verse earlier. So in my attempt to discuss the discussion itself, I think we've kind of aligned in a way that from a societal standpoint, the behavior is important.
From
It's
a
our
societal
impact on
perspective, yeah.
others.
Yeah, our behavior is important in an eternal perspective as well.
For aligning, when you're talking about aligning, is that an internal?
I don't understand the question.
So is aligning with the good of God by worshiping Jesus, right? Is that something that benefits me internally, or is that something that benefits society?
I don't know what you mean by internally. Like, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
So I'm trying to better understand what you mean by, because when I asked, you said it's because it aligns us with God, right? That's why you are invested in me worshiping Jesus, right? Or vice versa, right? Why you're invested in who I worship.
Well,
So
well, if I'm going to be honest, like your decision is your decision. If you don't want to worship Jesus, that's fine. That's your decision. That's the gift that God gave you. But I would prefer, if you aligned yourself with the highest possible good, I think that's to your betterment.
Right. And I guess technically the debate at hand is whether or not you should worship Jesus, right?
Well, I'm more like, so
That's
the rhetoric, the rhetoric about the topic is trying to give me like a valid reason why I would abandon this viewpoint that I have, or this philosophical foundation for the truth of who God is.
Would Jesus want you to help people?
Yes.
Right. So if you've learned that your behavior in an attempt to help people was harming them, would you want to know about that impact?
Well, it depends, right? Harm doesn't necessarily mean that it's not helping them.
But a net harm, like doing more harm than good in a situation.
How do we quantify that?
It would depend on the situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, how would we absolutely quantify that? Because ultimately, let's say like I say to a specific person here on earth that they have to abstain from like certain desires, and that causes them despair, right? That's a quantifiable harm that happens here. But because they abstain from certain desires, they get an eternal relationship with the all-powerful good, and all their evil will be destroyed in the next life. Then I think they ought do that. So I'm curious how we quantify that, because I would be causing them harm from a finite perspective, but at the end of the day, everything would be to their benefit.
Do you feel that it is harmful to abstain from sin? Does that hurt me?
It can, to a certain extent, sure.
Can you give me an example?
It can cause like an anxiety. Let's say that you have a certain desire. Let's say I have like a desire to like sleep around all the time, and I'm constantly suppressing that. That can cause like a certain anxiety in me. Sure.
I would call that like, I would almost, in my more atheistic, secular point of view, I would almost call that like the discomfort that comes with growth, right?
I agree. I agree with that perspective.
Yeah,
but
totally.
that doesn't necessarily mean that the growth is going to happen in this world, right? If you align with your God, that growth will happen. That's the process of sanctification.
I think that my fear with the debate about worship in the afterlife is I don't know for a fact if I'm going to benefit from things in the afterlife based on my behavior, right? But I do know that when I do good things, it helps people. There is a benefit to that, right? When we assist the poor and the hungry and the downtrodden and the vulnerable, that when we assist the lowest of us, I just genuinely believe that is in everyone's best interest, even on this planet before dying.
Yeah, no disagreement.
So why would I gamble on what's written in a book when I can just see the benefit that it does in the world?
I'm not asking anybody to gamble on it.
So, but my fear is if you are committed to worshiping Jesus, are you closing your eyes to other information that could inform you about the impact of your actions in helping people?
Is that logically possible or like metaphysically true? Which question are you asking me?
Well, since we're debating you specifically, aren't you worried that you're missing something?
No.
But why not?
Why should I be?
Because there's so many other sources of information.
Well,
and I've seen
many
good
following
many
Jesus
Christians
doesn't
hurt people.
Yeah, so following Jesus doesn't close my mind to information. Like there's no rule in scripture that says like I can't read like, Aristotle. Like that doesn't exist.
No, there are some denominations of Christianity that even believe that meditation is a form of heresy and blasphemy.
Which denomination?
I believe I gotta look it up to double check, but my first instinct is Jehovah's Witness. Actually, no, Catholicism. Catholicism says that yoga is against Catholicism because it's a form of meditation. It's blasphemy.
Is because a form of meditation? I don't think this is correct. Can you show me this in the catechism?
It was a statement by one of the popes.
Well, a statement by the Pope.
Let's see if I can look it up.
Yeah, a statement by the Pope doesn't mean it's doctrinal.
Well, I mean,
popes get things wrong.
Faith, then.
Popes get things wrong. Like one of the popes dug up the other pope and put the pope on trial when he was dead. Like I don't think he should ought have done that. That doesn't mean he's a bad Christian. He just did something he shouldn't have done. Like I'm curious because what you're saying is like this is like a, oh my God, I keep getting the restriction and I keep appealing it and I keep winning the appeal. So why do I keep getting the restrictions? Okay, so
then my question becomes, okay, so
hold on. Let me land that plane though. Let me land that plane. Unless unless a pope declares something like ex cathedra, then it's not really like a teaching of the church.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Fair enough. I'm just trying to formulate my next question. Because you were saying that he was a good Christian, that one pope could still be a good Christian, even though they dug up that other pope, which they should not have done.
Yeah, I don't think he should have done. I think that's kind of weird, but we all sin, we all fall short, but we still strive to be the best people that we can be by aligning ourselves with the good, which is God.
Is it possible to align yourself with good? So yeah, this. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself of like, I still don't understand why it matters where you come to that good. Does it matter if you find that good or that blueprint from
Well, like I
Jesus
said
in the
I said
Bible?
earlier, there's an orthodox viewpoint. Not every Christian is going to agree with this, but they could very well be right about this. There's an orthodox viewpoint that you can align yourself with God. You can be walking in salvation, but be ignorant of what you're actually aligning yourself towards. But ultimately, you're still aligning yourself towards God. You're still aligning yourself towards Jesus, right? You're just unaware of that. But to fully get to like the full aspect of what that entails, you would have to be aware of that, for no one gets to the Father except through Jesus.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why that matters. It doesn't seem as important as like our behavior on Earth and the impact that has on people here.
Well, you say that while you're on Earth, but let's say my eternal worldview is correct. You die, you move into the next life. Then the most important thing is going to be in alignment with God.
Well, if I'm a good person, right? If I've done good things and God punishes me because I did not worship at his feet, then is that really a God that I want to believe in? Is that really a God that is deserving of my worship?
Well, I say this with all due respect. That doesn't, I don't care about that, right? If my worldview is correct and you want to say I don't like the God because he's a big meanie, okay, enjoy hell.
Well, if I'm going to hell anyway, I'm going to help as many people as I can on the way down.
I mean, sure, but it's going to be mute.
I think so. Helping people isn't going to, no matter how many people I help before I die, if I'm going to hell anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It
If
doesn't
I
matter.
volunteer, if I volunteer at an orphanage or I give my time to
One
raise
of my
money
favorite
One
to
second.
cure
non-Bible
diseases.
quotes about
Sure.
faith I think applies as well to worship. Be sure what you believe and why you choose to believe it. If you don't, some beliefs, and probably not a very creditable one, will choose you.
Thank you. Sorry, say that again.
So if I volunteer at an orphanage and I raise a bunch of money to cure diseases and I do all these good things, once I die, it doesn't matter.
Well, not from your
Is that right?
perspective. I think from the eternal perspective, right? It absolutely matters, because this is what we ought do. We'll love one another, and that's loving one another, right? Acting selfless towards another being is what love is. That is the nature of God. That's what the Father does for the Son, is an eternal love between the two. That is just simply part of their nature. So that's what we should strive to be. When you're doing that, you're striving to be that. But if at the end of the day you say, hey, I've done the things that you've done, but I don't want to be with you because I don't like you, God grants you and gives you that permission. That's how much he loves you, allows you to make your choice. He says, fine, you don't want to be with me. Then he cuts you off from him. But because of that, there's a natural consequence of you being cut off from the good. So all the good that you've done is irrelevant to you. You've been cut off from it.
So if the good that I've done doesn't matter, I think the people that I help would disagree.
Well, to the people that you help in this life, they're going to experience, because they're experiencing what? They're experiencing God. Now, that's not going to matter if at the end, hold on.
Point?
I agree. Yeah. They're experiencing God, but at the end of the day, it won't matter if they choose to cut themselves off from all that good. So they experience all this good, and what they're experiencing is God. But then at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? I've experienced God and I want nothing to do with it. Then all the good that they've experienced, they've just cut themselves off from it.
So when a doctor performs a difficult surgery and saves a life, is that a miracle that God accomplished, or is that 20 plus years of work and effort from the doctor?
In a sense, you can synergize with God's energies through your good actions done in ignorance. But we have the pearl of great price in the Orthodox Church, and living the sacramental life is the most assured way to salvation.
Right. So there's this thing called common grace. And the idea is that God, when creating the universe, took into consideration all things that people would do, all decisions that would make, every prayer that you would do. So the idea of common grace is that God works through people to do his will. So you'd say that yes, to the answer to your question would be yes. It is both a miracle, and it is both the energy of the person doing what is good, and which is aligning themselves with God, which is acting selflessly towards another.
So does worshiping Jesus from a young age increase someone's chances of becoming a good doctor?
If they're truly worshiping, yeah, I'd say yes.
Because I don't think it's the worship that does it. It's the studying that makes a good doctor. Because there are plenty of good doctors in the world that don't worship Jesus.
Yeah.
There are plenty of bad doctors that do harm.
No, hold on. That's not the question you asked. The question you ask,
Okay.
would somebody who worships Jesus at a young age, would that increase their likelihood of being a good doctor? And I said, I think yes. Why do I think that? Well, they're aligning themselves with the highest possible good and selflessness. So every bit of studying they do, every aspect they do of being a good doctor will be in the spirit of being aligned with the selfless love and act for another person.
So if someone gets kicked out of medical school, the number one reason why they get kicked out of medical school and don't become a doctor must be because they didn't pray hard enough.
No, how does that logically follow, man? You seem
So
really good faith
where's
right
the
up into that
line-
point.
Where's the line between worship and prayer? Maybe that's where I'm lost.
Well, prayer is just to request something.
Okay. So then I guess I don't know what you mean by worship in this case.
To align yourself with the highest possible good. The highest possible good is God. And what is that nature? That nature of God is a selfless act for another person.
So I think we're both agreed that we want to see more of that behavior. I want to see people aligning themselves with the best possible good.
Okay. Because
have I taken up all your time?
Well, I'm going to let you go after this question just because I got other people in the queue, and we've been talking almost a half hour. So
I hope I didn't come across as too hostile. I've been trying to be good faith. I hope you know that.
No, you didn't come across hostile at all. Just that last question seemed bad faith. It seemed like a straw
It
man.
was a little bit. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Now I lost my train of thought. What was the question you just asked?
We were talking about doctors and whether or not they become good doctors through worship or study. And
we ought. So I remember. So you're asking. We both agree that we ought to seek out the selfless act for love for another person. Yeah, you're right, because that's engraved in your nature. Because that's what God designed you for. That's being in the image bearer of God. That is your design, to be in unison, to be aligned with God's will. And being aligned with God's will is to be fully selfless. There's this old idiom, right? What's hell? Hell is everybody with giant spoons trying to feed themselves.
Right.
And they can't do it. Yeah. And heaven is just everybody feeding each other. It's the same place, same area, but it's just a different state. One is selfishness. The other one is selflessness.
See, and this actually ties back to my fear of crediting God with everything, creating ignorance, because I don't credit God for me wanting to see good in the world. I credit how I was raised by my parents, which inspires me to be a better parent someday and to try to focus on those behaviors outside of just whether or not it's in line with worshiping a specific religion.
Yeah, I don't understand your contention, because all that is in alignment with everything I said.
The contention is with who gets credit, because free will is a thing, right?
Who do you want to give credit to?
Well, I asked mine first, if you don't mind. Like, do you believe in free will?
Yeah.
So then if I give credit to God for my parents' behavior in raising me and for exhibiting the behaviors, then I don't focus on those behaviors to replicate them going forward.
How does that follow?
Because I'm crediting God.
Yeah, but I don't understand how that follows. If by crediting God and the common grace that he's given reality and the simple fact that he's allowed this and willed this certain nature of us to be selfless, and because of that, your parents operate in that and you give grace and thanks to God, knowing that that's the standard that he set, how would you not align yourself with that? That doesn't make sense to me.
Because I don't know if it was him. I know that my parents made choices.
Well,
it's like
if we're
talking,
but hold on, let me just clarify here. Is this an internal critique or an external one? Because if you're just talking, I have no knowledge of God, so therefore I operate in this way, that's a different question.
I have a knowledge of God. I'm aware of God. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I know of him.
But I'm talking about like the ontological, like Christian God, like that's who he is. Like if you're unaware that that's the truth and reality, that's a different question.
So, okay, let's, so if, let's say that there is an accident that happened in there's an oil main rupture, and then there's a fire and there's an explosion because there was a leak and a tree got struck by lightning, right? So then what caused the explosion?
Sorry, there's a tree got struck by lightning.
So a tree got struck by lightning, which caused a spark, which combusted an oil line, an oil pipeline.
Yeah.
So what caused the explosion?
Who knows? How do you answer that question? That's the
philosophical question.
Yeah, I agree. It's the philosophical question. To first make a pie from scratch, you must first make the universe.
Well, by your logic, it sounds like God did it. Not just because of the lightning bolt, but because he allowed the oil pipeline to fall under disrepair. And it started
to... God did it?
Of course. If we're giving him credit.
Well, doesn't that presuppose like determinism?
Exactly.
Yeah, why should I hold to determinism?
Well, I'm not saying you should. It appears as if you do.
How do I?
Based on giving God credit for my desire to do good.
No, that's talking about a causal effect. I'm talking about you're participating in his energies.
This has been a very riveting conversation. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you have too.
Yeah, you've been a great interlocutor.
This has been, it's nice to see somebody that has some really well formulated arguments. I remain unconvinced.
Well, in all fairness, I wasn't trying to convince you.
This is true, but I do think I think it's more important to focus on the behaviors that we know have impact instead of what we have faith and believe has impact on other people.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If there is no higher form of good, why should I not seek anything but my own pleasure?
Because there are consequences. And because we as a society can't progress.
Are you consequentialist?
Through greed. Can you give me a summary?
Isn't like consequentialism is that you ought to operate in a way because of the consequence that will happen, and this is how we derive our morality?
I mean, that sounds kind of in line based on that statement.
So let's say like a hypothetical world, somehow I possess all the power. I know there'll be no consequence to like my decisions. Why should I ought not seek out just my own pleasure and like say take slaves of the whole world and I don't know, make them all my sex slaves and do whatever I want with them?
Do we live in a world like that?
We don't. But if I could, what moral duty would I have to not do that?
If we don't live in a world like that, then why does the question matter? Because we need to find out.
Well, it's
how to live in this
world.
You
seem like a smart guy, like like a reductio, right?
I haven't read it. No.
A reductio ad absurdum. Like I feel like you do know what that is.
Oh yeah. That's a logical fallacy.
It's a fallacy? No. It's just the idea. You take a worldview, right? You assume the conclusion, and then you kind of work backwards, and then you see.
Kind of like the slippery slope argument.
No, not slippery. Slippery slope fallacy is like if something happens, you're just going to assume all these other things are going to happen, right? And that's a fallacy because that doesn't necessitate that if A happens, B will happen unless we have good reason to believe that. Right? A reductio is just we assume the conclusion is true. So we can assume consequentialism is true. And then we reduce it to like absurdities. So if I have this world where I can possess all the power, then there is no moral ought or reason why I shouldn't operate in a way that just seeks out my own pleasure because there is no consequence. Like, for example, let me give a real world example then. Let's say I can cheat on my wife and I know for a fact, I know for a certainty, like a 99% certainty that she'll never find out. Why should I not do it?
Well, first off, I mean, in that specific example, why would you go buy fast food when you've got steak at home?
Well, let's just
It would
say,
be
and
that would be
listen,
an argument of like,
I don't believe this. Like, I think my wife is the top of the top, but let's say I've just found a woman. I just found her 10 times more beautiful. And I know she's just going to be a better lay. And I just know these things about her, right? I'm going to get that temporal pleasure, right? I know there's no consequence to it. Why should I ought not do it?
I mean, if there's no consequence in the world, this is in a different world in existence. Is there consequence to other people? Of course, there's consequences to your wife. Right?
She'll never in this hypothetical, she's not going to find out. What's the consequence to her?
So in real life, I don't think there would ever be a situation where that is the case. But if there was genuinely a situation,
Why is that not a real world? Why is that not a real world scenario?
Because there will always be a consequence in the real world.
But I mean, like, okay, so for example, last year I traveled to Los Angeles to shoot for Jubilee. And when I was there, right, if I would have hooked up with somebody there, how would she ever find out? What's like, how would that even happen?
So in what kind of timeline? Because in an infinite amount of time, it's guaranteed that she would eventually find out.
Well, just
how
in
long?
Our finite amount of time on Earth.
There's still a decent chance that she'd find out at some point.
How?
And even if not, is it gonna change your thinking about the relationship? Is part of how your relationship's so good is because you're so committed and would not cheat on her?
I feel like
those
kind of
are consequences that are inherent to it.
Yeah. So again, let's say I'm a psychopath. I wouldn't have those feelings that would change my behavior. Like, these are real world scenarios. I can be a psychopath, which means that I don't have empathy. I don't have sympathy. I primarily operate off logical systems. And then I travel to LA.
The term you're looking for is actually a sociopath. That's a clinical term, whereas psychopath is a legal term.
Sure. That's fine. But you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And so then I travel to Los Angeles for all intents and purposes. I know, right, statistically, right, Bayesian analysis, whatever you want to use, that the chances of her finding out, as long as I don't confess, are pretty much nil. Why ought I not do it?
What about the consequences to the other person? You share this beautiful night together.
Why should I care about their consequence?
Because it does still have an impact on the world, even if you don't see it.
Sure, I agree. Consequences. But why should I care about it?
Why should you care whether or not there's air in the room if you can't see it?
Because I need oxygen to breathe. That's an effect on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just because you don't see the consequences of your action, does that mean there are none?
No, I agree there's consequences, but the consequences aren't for me. So why should I care?
How do you know that they don't affect you in the larger, bigger picture?
How would it?
In this example, let's say she goes off and you said you were on a shoot, so then it impacts her performance in future shows or whatever.
And that's the other girl. That's the other girl. Yeah. Why should I care about them?
Well, let me finish. It impacts her performance in a show that you then go to watch, and you don't get to enjoy it as much because her performance suffered from your actions.
So hold on. So you're saying I ought not seek out a higher desire of like sexual intercourse because I may one day watch a show she's on and find the show not as good?
I'm saying you will not know what the consequences are. And I can create a bunch of hypotheticals on what could happen, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. So again, I don't see a reason from like an atheistic, naturalistic point of view why I ought not do that. Right. I'm not going to cause any harm to the people around me. It's not going to really affect my life. I'm going to get more pleasure out of it. So, and for all intents and purposes, I ought do it.
I disagree, because you just because you don't see the consequences and you don't predict them doesn't mean the consequences aren't there.
Yeah, well, the consequence is I'm going to have pleasure. I see that consequence. I don't see a negative
believe-
outcome in that situation.
There's always a consequence, a negative consequence to things like this, in no small part because, like, I don't think that you would be able, like, even as a sociopath, having that information would still impact you in your relationship going forward.
How?
If I don't know, does that mean that it's not true?
Well, you haven't given me a reason to hold to it, right? Why should I accept this worldview that there is this good without a foundation from it, and I ought seek it out without a justification?
So maybe this is a bad example.
I think it's a real world example. I think people do this all the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we only hear about them after they get caught.
And not everybody gets caught because we only hear about the ones that get caught.
Have you ever been cheated on?
I assume so. I have no clue. There's one scenario where I'd say, yeah, absolutely, I did. And then there's like another scenario where it's like, I'm confident, but I couldn't tell you for certainty.
By your own logic, he doesn't know the consequences of being faithful and ought not do that either.
Oh, that's an interesting point, Wobbuffet. That is a very interesting point. I think you do see the consequences of you being faithful every day. I would assume.
Well, I have a foundation, so I do think I see that.
Right. Yeah. So, interesting point, Wobbuffet. I challenged that pretty quickly.
Anyways, man, we've been talking 40 minutes.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
I want to let other people talk, but this was great. I appreciate it.
All right, God bless, man.
Have a good one.
Nice guy. Maybe a little bit of a boring conversation, but I actually felt it was fruitful, so I kept it going. I'm going to put Abby on the screen because I really have to use the washroom. This is the same guest when you left, so
okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was nice.
What song do you want, Abby?
Oh, whatever.
Whatever?
You could put on the nice person one if you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was nice. And it is a bop. Okay. Yeah. We're getting our counters measured to replace our countertops. I'm very excited because right now it's literally tiled grout. Grouted tile. I said that backwards. It's horrendous. Multicolored tiles. Grouted. So then when I go to wipe the counters, everything gets stuck in the grout. It's insane. But our house is old, so outdated. I don't know how John does this so quickly. Oh my word. Okay. Oh my word, Amber, you have the same. It's brutal. I've never seen that before. We moved in and we're like, what? Who thought that was a good idea? Talking about our countertops. Amber has the same countertop, like grouted tile.
Yeah, it's stupid. Whoever is like, yeah, let's make countertops tiled so food can get stuck in it. All right. Guys, smash the like button, share the live. What time do we got here? We got lots of time. Dono bar is looking pretty good, although it could always look better.
I haven't updated it.
Abby hasn't updated it.
So it might be different.
I'm also going to read some super chats before we jump on to the next guest because we have quite a few that we haven't read. Momo hijab, copyright strike. We did that one. Never go full Muslim. I agree. Is a law a father in any sense called? They always want to ask the questions. They never want to answer them. Abby said you have to be nicer to me. Start when?
When did I say that?
God bless. Keep up the good work. Thank you. There is a flaw in your argument about Stryker being the one who who he listened to about dyslexia. That is assuming he listens to Stryker. True.
Also, look at the way he spelled dyslexia. Dyslexia.
Oh, see, I didn't even notice. There's your evidence. $5 for a valid argument, even if it's an easy one. Hey, there you go. Guest is trying to divorce the idea of good from God, or in this case, Jesus. He doesn't understand that in our paradigm, God is the equivalent of good. Yes, that is what I was trying to drive home. Right? When you're doing good, you're operating in the energies. You're participating in the energies of God. We did this one. We did this one. Christians have an issue with is the overemphasis of self-love, not that type of self-love, the overemphasis of self-love and the spiritual practices of yoga. The actual movements and stretching are fine. Yeah, I agree. Yoga is perfectly fine if you're stretching. I've done yoga. I don't do it all the time, but I've done it quite a bit. But if you're doing it as in the sense of the religious practice, then you're obviously participating in idolatry. Consequence of being faithful. I think that guy knew more than he was letting on than he knew. I got a feeling deep in my stomach that he knew more than he was letting on.
In what way?
I think he knows more about philosophy than he was letting on.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. I got a vibe. He seemed like a really nice guy, but I had 10 people in the queue and I'm just skipping right through them. Mixed Swish. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I am about 30.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus? You can't look masculine drinking from a straw. Look.
Yeah,
Try
that does not
flexing
look.
while you do it.
And like
Better.
it's just like that list of things that like are a little bit gay.
Yeah, drinking from a
They need to put in drinking from a straw.
It might have been on there.
It might have been, yeah.
I agree. That might be the only thing we agree on. Anyway,
go ahead.
I'm going to start with a clarifying question before I get into the real meat of it, but I think we're going to agree on it. A subject must act in accordance with its nature, and thus nature dictates causal capacity. Fair?
Oof. Oh my goodness. All right, we're getting real Phil Broy here. Okay. A subject must act in
accordance with its nature.
Okay, so in accordance with its nature. Is there more?
And thus nature dictates causal capacity.
And thus nature dictates causal capacity. It seems like intuitively true, but I don't know, man. Like for example, if we were to say a subject must act in accordance with its nature, my nature is not to fly. If I jump off a building flapping my arms, am I acting in accordance with my nature?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in the sense of your nature doesn't allow you to fly. If your reaction to falling and then trying to fly is flapping your arms and not flying.
No. My nature is not to, but I decide, hey, I'm going to do it. And I jump off a building and flap my arms. Like, cause logically I can do that, right? It's stupid.
Yeah.
But am I acting in within accordance of my nature?
Well, if you're falling and you know you're probably going to die.
Yeah. No, not the situation isn't I am falling. The situation is I'm making the active choice to jump off a building and flap my arms.
Yeah, like it is within your nature to perform the causal capacity of flapping your arms.
No, I don't think you understand. Maybe I'm speaking past. My mentality here is I'm not a bird. I know I'm not a bird, but I'm going to do what a bird does, and I'm going to see if I can fly. Right. So I run knowing that I'm going to jump off the building and attempt to fly. I jump off the building and then start flapping my arms really hard, but I don't fly and I end up hitting the ground. Am I operating within my nature?
Yes, your nature is just extremely irrational, though. There's obviously a characteristic of your nature that's just extremely irrational.
Okay, so then sure. That's fine. I don't know what this means then. A subject must act in accordance with their nature. And how do we quantify that? And how do we even know a subject must operate in accordance with their nature if we just assume that anytime we see a subject do something, that's within accordance with their nature?
Okay, so is there anything, so say like the nature of a rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say all of a sudden it also had the nature of a lion, and the rock starts running around chasing gazelles, rah-de-rah-de-rah. The rock wouldn't be a rock anymore. It'd be something else, correct?
Well, it seems like to me, based off of what you said originally, that now the rock is still operating within accordance of its nature. It's just like an irrational nature.
Yeah, but would you call it a rock? It would have lost the law of identity, right? It'd have to be called something else.
Are you saying the rock is operating as a lion, or the rock like metaphysically changed into a lion?
No, I'm saying the rock is still a rock, but also has the nature of a lion.
So then it metaphysically changed into a lion. Because you're just doing a law of non-contradiction.
No.
You cannot both be a rock and a lion at the same time.
Okay, right. So a rock can only act within the nature of a rock.
Right, but I don't know what that means. Because again, you said like there is no way to actually measure if something would be operating outside of its nature and what that actually entails.
Can you give me something? Can you give me anything that has causal capacity outside of its nature?
Can I give anything that gives causal capacity outside of its nature?
Yes.
I don't know, because I don't understand the question. I don't understand the statement and what that entails. That's the problem.
Right.
Because for example, water freezing is due to the environment around that. But water freezing, I'm assuming you're just going to say water freezing is part of its nature.
Yeah, that water freezing is part of its nature. It's just put in a different
right.
form changes because it's in a different set of environments.
Right. So again, I don't know what that entails, because then like me hitting you in the head with a baseball bat would be part of your nature.
If you hit me in the head with a baseball bat,
yeah,
it would be part of your nature to be a violent person,
and part of your nature to have your head caved in. That's what I'm saying is the problem. It seems so broad.
No. It's not part of my nature to have my head cleaved in. Like in terms of
okay, so then a subject can act outside of accordance of its nature. Then
no, my head gets caved in because the nature of me is that I have a skeletal system that can be cracked by a baseball bat, right?
Go say then it is within the accordance of your nature.
Okay, right. I misheard the last point you were making. But okay. Anyway, we can. This was meant to be something we both agreed on, and I didn't realize it was going to end up in this. I'll give you the.
I just don't understand it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even disagreeing with it. I just don't understand what it means. A subject must act in accordance with its nature.
Say like let's. I'm just gonna. Your nature is your essential inherent properties, right?
Mm-hmm. Necessary properties or accidental.
Yeah. Essential inherent properties, not accidental.
So all your necessary properties is what your nature is?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, cool. I don't think an entity... Well, I know that an entity can't act outside its nature.
An entity cannot act outside of its nature. Again, I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Okay. What's an entity? Anything, right? Any one thing.
State of being. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So entity. Well, let's turn it to subject.
Uh-huh.
An action, right? Something can do. That's what an action is.
Mm-hmm.
The nature, all its essential inherent properties, right? So, can an entity perform actions that are outside its essential inherent properties? No.
Yeah, so you can't do something that's outside your nature, if that's what you're trying to say.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
So a subject must act so I don't think the sentence works. So a subject must act within accordance of its nature. I'd say a subject cannot do things outside of its nature. I think that's better, because to say a subject must act in accordance with its nature, that implies that the nature has a causal effect to your personhood.
Okay, all right. If we want to confirm the negative, I can agree with that too. Cool. All right. So here's the syllogism of where I actually want to be arguing.
Okay. Can I erase this now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So P1, if the hypostatic union is coherent, then a single subject does not produce mutually exclusive cognitive states.
If the hypostatic union is coherent, what was the rest?
Then a single subject does not produce mutually exclusive cognitive states.
Subject does not produce. Sorry again.
Mutually exclusive cognitive states.
Exclusive. And then we'll say CS. Okay.
Okay. P2. A single subject does not possess mutually exclusive cognitive states.
Single subject does not produce exclusive.
Mutually exclusive.
Okay, hold on. So, if the hypostatic union is coherent, then the single subject does not produce mutually exclusive. Okay, yeah. Mutually exclusive cognitive states. Okay.
Conclusion. Therefore, the hypostatic union is not coherent.
Okay. Can you substantiate your premises?
Yep. So, do you agree that a single subject cannot produce mutually exclusive cognitive states?
A single subject?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'd say cognition is in relation to a nature.
Cognition is in relation to a nature. I agree with that.
Yep.
But in terms of you can't produce mutually exclusive cognitive states, correct?
A singular nature cannot do it. No.
Cool. No. Hang on. No. A singular consciousness can't do it.
Right. So are you conflating consciousness with cognitive, like being in cognition?
So are you can a single subject produce mutually exclusive cognitive states?
Yeah, acquire their relation to the nature.
Cool. All right. A single subject does not produce mutually exclusive cognitive states.
Well,
so
no.
We're in
I don't think you heard what I said. I said a single subject can do it qua the relation to their natures.
No, I disagree. This is the contentious part of the argument. Here we are.
Right. So the cognition is in relation to the nature, right? So your mental ability and capacity is in relation to your nature. A person is a subject, right?
Yep.
Yeah, our person is just your first person perspective. If that person is in relation to two natures, I don't see an issue.
What if those natures are mutually exclusive?
What do you mean?
Well, Jesus's two natures have limited knowledge and full knowledge, temporal and non-temporal, omnipotent and not omnipotent.
Yeah,
so
but
his natures are contradictory.
The nature isn't contradictory because they're two natures. For a contradiction, it has to be in the same way, in the same sense.
They're contradictory because they have to form one cognitive state, and the cognitive state can't be mutually exclusive. That's why I have
the cognitive state. You already agreed the cognitive state's contingent on the nature.
It's contingent on the nature, but it can only be one at a given time, right?
In qua the nature.
Okay, so when Jesus has a cognitive state, which nature does he pick from? Explain to me what the
Are you asking me to solve like the problem of consciousness here on the live?
No. What I'm asking you to solve is
it sounds like that's what you're asking me to solve.
What I'm asking you to solve is when does Jesus use? I'm going to put it in layman's terms. When does Jesus use his divine nature, and when does Jesus use his human nature, and what decides when Jesus uses which nature?
Yeah, you're asking me to solve the problem of consciousness.
Sure, solve it then.
Yeah, I can't do that. Neither can you.
Well, I will pose the question to me.
You're asking for the mechanism on how an individual consciousness operates. Like, how am I going to know that? I don't know how your consciousness operates, yet you possess one.
But you know I'll do it, and you know it'll be a result of my nature, right?
No, that's begging the question.
What question is being begged?
You're saying that your consciousness is in there because of your nature. I don't agree with that.
No, I'm not. Didn't we agree before that you said your cognitive state, qua your nature, will produce causal capacity?
Cognition, right? So hold on. Let's get the semantics on cognition then. What are you using by cognition? Because we may disagree on the semantics.
Cognition is the formation of a causal, like a causal state. Sorry, a cognitive state.
That's circular.
No, I don't think so. Like cognition is the process of forming a cognitive state.
Okay, so then what's a cognitive state? Can you give me the semantic without using cognition?
I actually had to do this the other day with this. I just want to get the words right. I'm going to look up cognitive state. The current condition of an individual's mental process, including attention, memory, perception, and reasoning.
Yeah, I don't think that is your personhood, your like consciousness, right? I think that is contingent on the mind. That's your memory. That's your brain. That's the way you're thinking. But your first person perspective is not contingent on those things.
Your first person perspective isn't contingent on your cognitive state.
Yeah. So for example, I can have my first. Hold on.
Q, therefore, not P.
Yeah, so I can have my first person perspective without my memories. Right? It's not reliant. It's not contingent on that.
Sure, but you're gonna need some sort of cognitive state.
No, I don't think
or else you're just unconscious.
Yeah, I don't think that follows.
Why?
Why does it?
You need a cognitive state, or else you're simply unconscious. If you're saying you might not need one aspect of your cognitive state, like you might not need the.
So then, can you give me the specific necessary properties of the cognitive state to entail a first person perspective?
Probably not off the top of my head, no. But
no, because if you did, you'd solve the problem of consciousness.
No, I honestly don't understand the line of questioning, to be honest.
What I'm saying is there's a philosophical problem of consciousness, right? We don't know what it is and we don't know what it's reliant on, right? If I change any aspects of like the majority parts of your brain, you could still possess a conscious state. You could lose your memory, you can lose who you are, you can lose your personality, right? All those things for all intents and purposes can be changed. So we actually do not know what is the fact that consciousness relies on. So there seems to be this first person perspective that exists independently of your mind. If not, you'd have to say it's synonymous and you're going to have a whole bunch of problems.
So I kind of, am I correct in, am I steel manning your position by saying we cannot conclude that a cognitive state is derived by your nature? Is that a fair statement?
I think you're conflating cognitive state with consciousness.
Okay. What is the relationship? What is the relationship in your perspective between consciousness and cognitive state?
Yeah, consciousness is your first person perspective. Your cognitive state is like your memories, actions, thoughts that are qua your nature.
Acquire your nature?
Qua, I can never say it. QUA.
Oh, all right. Qua your nature. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does Jesus have one cognitive state at any given time?
Jesus's personhood is always in alignment with a nature, and that'd be the nature of God, which would have like cognition, would have like memory and thought, not in the same way that humans have it, it'd be in a different way. But yeah, in the nature of God, he would possess a mind, right? But then the person of Jesus possesses two minds, also within the human flesh.
Jesus has two minds.
Yes.
I don't think I've heard someone say that before. Okay, so I'll ask a question about Jesus's life and see if this can clear it up for me a little bit more, because say like Jesus, when he's born, both has the divine nature and the human nature, correct?
The person of Jesus possesses the divine nature at all times, right? He assumes the human nature when he is born.
The human nature and the divine nature are full but distinct, correct?
I'd say true. Full is a weird statement, implies percentages.
Yeah, well, you can. I've heard people describe it as he's 100% divine and also 100% human.
You can't quantify God. How do you have 100% of eternal, of infinite? Right?
And the divine nature. divine
Yeah.
nature. The divine nature. That's what the divine nature.
Yeah. So the classical Christian perspective is you'd say that Jesus is truly God, truly man.
All right. When Jesus is 5 years old, does Jesus know everything or not?
Yes.
He does.
Well, both.
Well, then he's not limited then. He's not limited by his human nature then.
Both. He has both. Because again, knowledge is relation to the nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is it related to his human nature or is it his divine nature?
Well, not both, right? So human nature has knowledge and the divine nature has knowledge.
But the divine nature has limitless, infinite knowledge, and the human nature has limited knowledge.
Correct.
So if Jesus is tapped into his divine nature, he should have infinite knowledge at 5 years old. But if Jesus is tapped into his human nature, his knowledge is the knowledge of a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah, so the person of Jesus possesses both limited and unlimited nature. But for a contradiction to work, it has to be in the same way, in the same sense. It's not the same way in the same sense.
Because he has two separate natures.
Correct.
So if I did the P not P, say I did like Jesus has unlimited knowledge, Jesus has limited knowledge. How do you square the circle?
Yeah, because it's not in the same way in the same sense. Just like this, right? In my house, my light switch is on, my light switch is also off. In my house, it is true that the light switch is on and off at the same time. The reason it's not a contradiction is because it's not in the same way in the same sense, because I possess two light switches.
Okay, right. Okay, I see what you're saying. But I still don't see how you can collapse these two natures into one cognitive state at a given point in time.
Right. So again, you keep equating cognitive state with personhood. That's where I'm getting the distinction. The cognitive state is qua the nature, right? That's your mentality, that's your mind, that's the way you're thinking. The first person perspective is not qua the nature.
Okay. If the cognitive state is qua the nature, right? It is effectively in Jesus's case qua two natures.
Jesus, what? No, that doesn't follow. That says that the person is reliant on the nature. When you say qua, Jesus is qua the natures.
Hang on, you just told me the cognitive state is qua the nature, right?
Yep. But that doesn't mean that Jesus the person is qua the nature, because that implies that the nature is the causal effect of Jesus the person.
Okay, Jesus is one subject.
Yes.
With two natures.
Yes.
He has the causal capacity for unlimited, eternal, all-knowing actions in the divine nature.
Through the divine nature, yes.
Through the divine nature, correct. Yeah. He has limited human capacity through the human nature.
You got it.
So how, at any one time, can he be limited and unlimited at the same time?
All right, so we've gone full circle, and generally when I go full circle so generally when I go full circle 2 or 3 times, I move on because I'm not going to say anything different.
All right. So if I could ask one last question, then, if like I'm trying to understand, so like when Jesus walks on water, does Jesus actively decide to turn the divine, show his divine nature? Because all through his early childhood...
Yeah, again, you're asking for a mechanism of the consciousness. I can't answer that question.
Okay. Okay. This is the last question, then I'll let someone else on. Why does Jesus only show his divine nature when he turns water into wine? I'm pretty sure that's the first time the external world sees his divine nature.
You're asking me why God chose to do certain actions?
Yeah, I'm asking you, why does his divine nature just lay dormant all through his childhood, and then he decides to kick it in when he turns water into wine?
Because his mom asked him to.
Good boy, Jesus. Good boy. All right. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Why did you have to do that? We're having a great conversation, and you want to throw that down at the end? Like, that's just such a douchebag move. It makes me never want to talk to you again. All right, let's move on to the next person. How many times do I have to appeal this same thing? How many times do we have to do this, old man? Steven, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I am 38.
All right, man, can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I think you just have to look at the biblical text, right? Like, what did Jesus come for? Matthew 15:24, he says he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right?
Yep. And then he sent Paul to the Gentiles.
Yeah, well, the Gentiles are actually ex-Israelites, okay? So if you look at Hebrews 9:15, it'll say that Jesus died for those under the law.
Really? So when Paul says in Galatians, there's either a Jew nor a Greek, for all one Christ Jesus?
Yeah, you're kind of skipping ahead here. You don't know the Old Testament, right? Like,
yeah,
if you look at Genesis,
let's do this. What's the argument?
That Jesus didn't die for you.
Okay.
Look at Hebrews 9:15.
That's the conclusion. What's the argument?
Well, you got to look at Hebrews 9:15. You weren't born under the law.
Well, what's the argument? So for me to substantiate the argument, I need the argument first.
Why shouldn't you worship Jesus? Because Jesus didn't come for you or die for you.
That's a conclusion.
He died for the sins.
Conclusion.
Well, you got to actually look at the verses I'm giving.
Yeah, I can't substantiate the argument without the argument. So when you're asking me to go to the verses, I first need the argument. The verses substantiate the argument. What's the argument?
Jesus died for those under the law only.
Okay. Jesus died for those under the law only. Okay.
Yep, that's the. So I can prove that to you.
That's still not. We still don't have an argument. That's a conclusion. If it's only one premise, it's a conclusion. Now, I'm not. It doesn't have to be formal, but if we can get like an informal idea what the argument is, we can walk with it.
The informal idea of the argument is that Jesus died for those under the law. We were not born under the law.
Okay.
Therefore, we should not worship Jesus.
Cool. Yeah, that's informal. Friend. We are not born under the law. So Jesus did not die for us. Great. So all we need to do to disprove this is to show at least one case. We just need one case where it says that Jesus died for more than those that are just under the law, correct?
Well, no. I mean, yeah, you could, but that's too broad. Like, good exegesis in Scripture explains Scripture.
Well, that's not broad, because if it's true that like all we need is a simple one case, right? So we just need one case, because this your first statement is Jesus died for those under the law only. That's an A statement.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with under the law.
So that's an A statement. So if I can just show one case, one single E statement, that debunks your first premise, correct?
It's not in context, though. You're going to pull up a broad one about the world from John. I know that. It's very easy, but the context is the Israelite world under law. And if you look at Hebrews 15,
yeah, so hold on. In the confines of John, right, when John's writing his text, John says, here comes Jesus to take away the sins of the world. Using John, why should I believe that's just for Israel alone?
Because the world is a broad statement, and it is in the Israelite context, right? Like, it's not divorced from the Old Testament. Messiah was going to come for the Israelites.
And then the Old Testament constantly talks about how other nations will be brought in.
No, it doesn't say brought in. It talks about how they would be given a light. There'd be a light to the Gentiles and that. But
and it says all nations will come under God. And that's God's desire.
Yes,
that's what it says in Ezekiel.
If you look at the nations, if you go to Genesis 48,
so again, you're dodging the question. Why should I believe just when reading John, with using his understanding, right, from what he's writing, to determine that he is only talking about Israel? How do I draw that conclusion?
Well, because you can't just look at one statement from the New Testament without.
That's why I'm not asking to use one statement. I said within John. I'm asking in the Gospel of John, right, from an eternal critique. John's trying to derive a message, right? Now, it's commonly known that John, in his goal when writing his Gospel, is trying to combat a specific heresy that's coming out, which was Nestorianism, that Jesus was just a spiritual being, right, that he didn't actually contain flesh. This is the common conception. This is the scholarly consensus around that. So when I'm reading John and John says that Jesus came to take away the sins of the world, why should I think John is not deriving that message?
No, I believe you. But what world is John talking about?
Yeah, just plain reading of the text would imply that all people.
I know, but that's correct.
Yeah, you say it's not correct. Give me a reason.
Hebrews 9:15.
So
and
quote, you can quote mine anything. You can quote mine anything.
No, those are explicit. Those are explicit statements of what Jesus came to do.
So then you can see
the John stuff is broad.
So you can see that John does not give the implication that it's only for Israel.
Yeah, you're 100%, because it's in our understanding.
Okay, so then I can argue. So we can move on, but then I can argue that John's gospel does teach that Jesus takes away the sins of the world.
Yeah, at the first reading for sure. Yep.
Okay, great.
My whole contention is that that's a broad statement, and what context is it in.
So that's fine. So Gospel of John does talk about the taking away the sins of the world. Matthew 28:19. So now we're going to the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew 20:19. Go forth into all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father. Go forth and make disciples out of all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, but what nations are in context?
All, right? That's an A statement. All nations.
I know, but it's still divorced from the Old Testament. Genesis 48:19 will tell you the Israelites who were going to do
you can quote mine anything you want. You can quote mine anything you want. We're just going through the Gospels individually, and we're seeing. Hold on. We're going through the Gospels individually, and we're seeing if the specific Gospel authors were deriving a specific meaning. Now we know Matthew is performing what with when he's writing his Gospel.
He's talking to a Jewish audience.
But what is he doing?
What's the question? What is Matthew doing?
Matthew is doing midrash, right? He's using Old Testament prophecy to confirm the Messiah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, we're on board with that. So Matthew 24:19, go forth into all nations, right? Go for make disciples out of all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's an all statement. Now, obviously, we have to read within the context. You might be right that when he meant by all is like a very specific group, but you need to give me a reason why Matthew believed that.
Because Matthew is a Jewish person who knew the Old Testament very well.
Right. So again, you're just saying I have a certain understanding of the Old Testament. Great. Now you can quote mine anything. You can quote mine anything. Right. For us to get the context, we need the whole book. So Matthew, what in Matthew specifically would make me think that he's only talking about Israel just alone?
Matthew, what is it? Matthew 15:24.
Okay. Matthew 15. Matthew 15:20. But he answered and said, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house. Well, yeah, we agree with that. That's the whole thing that we started off with. We agree he was sent to the lost sheep of Israel. But then he sent his disciples to the other nations in Matthew 24:19.
Yes.
So there's no contention here.
Nope. The nations were the previously exiled Israelites.
I can't hear you. You got this loud squeaky thing going on.
The Gentiles of the New Testament are the previously exiled and paganized Israelites of the Old.
That's not what it says in Matthew 24:19. It says, go forth into all nations.
Yes.
Right? That's an all statement. That's encapsulating everything. You got to derive something in Matthew that shows me it doesn't encapsulate everything. You got Matthew 24:19, which would be if you're going to say that this is for Israel alone, this would be contradictory to your statement, Matthew 24:19, that he's only going to specific nations. You got to fix that squeaking or I got to kick you. It's really loud.
Do you hear it now?
Not right now, no.
All right. What I'm trying to tell you is that the Israelites lost their identity, and all this New Testament is not divorced from the Old Testament.
I'm not saying it's divorced. You got to show me a reason that when Matthew, when performing midrash, understanding the Old Testament, reading it, had the perspective that Jesus was only going to these specific nations.
Because in Genesis, Israelites were promised to be scattered
All right,
into the nation.
I gotta kick you, man. That squeaking keeps coming back, but I appreciate you.
That was really hurting my
Yeah, that was
ears.
really bad. Small John Copper. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Small John Copper. All right.
Hello, hello.
Oh, there you are. Hi, how are you? And just real
Hello,
quick,
hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. No, this is not. It's not going to work. Shafi, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? No, I cannot hear you, but I assume that's what you asked. I'm more than kind of rude. I'm full on rude. What are you talking about? At least if you at least get it right. Unless you're talking about the other guy. Spence, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, what's up, brother? I'm 26.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Oh, is that what this is? Hey,
Richard, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I am 24 years old.
You guys got to get your mics fixed, man. Looks like we might be able to call it an early day. If this guest doesn't connect, that's all our guests. That's all our guests for the day. Although we haven't hit our dono goal, so we'll have to stick until we do that. All right. Oh, yeah, hold on. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
26.
All right, man. Can
How
you
you
convince? Good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I'm also had a dilemma. I'm kind of like, I have a dilemma within like some of the logical proofs. Is that all right? We go over that?
Not here to answer questions. All right. I got to use the washroom again. I drink a lot of water. Let's go entertain them, Abby.
Okay, I'll try. No music? No. Well, that's hurtful. Just dead silence. Somebody earlier said that John was disrespecting me because he left me and didn't turn my mic on. I guess he can't make a mistake. Can't forget anything. I like the Big John song too. Here's my cross stitch update. There's no grass. Can't really see the grass. Yeah, it was on. He just, because I wasn't here, so he turned it off so that he didn't get like feedback, and then he just forgot to turn it up again. And people are like, "Ooh, he's disrespecting," as if him putting me on the screen, the main screen, is showing that he's disrespectful to me and doesn't care about me.
Hey, we're getting trolled. Somebody has managed to get their camera connected and was showing pornography.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know how they got their camera connected.
Interesting.
But yeah,
that hasn't happened in a long time.
No.
How embarrassing.
Ethan, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Ethan? Ethan.
Hello?
Oh my God, as soon as I hit the end button. Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah, that's literally the reason that we don't let people have their screen on now.
Yep. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
It was good because I'm 39 years old, man.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah. Before we dive into that, though, could I ask you, did you wash your hands before you got out of the bathroom?
Let's say I
make
didn't.
sure. Okay. Just make sure you wash your hands, cuz.
Nah.
Yeah, how you doing, though, man?
Good, man.
That's good. So convince you to stop worshiping Jesus and win a taco?
Mm-hmm.
Man, how the hell he this dude know his hey, man? Like, come on, I ain't even got a profile pic, cuz.
Everybody knows it's hey, bro. You're the only person who talks like you.
Nah, there's a lot of people be talking like me, cuz. You haven't met a lot of people, cuz.
I literally talk to like at least 10, 20 people a day.
Yeah. All right, then, but yeah, convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. Yeah, man. I mean, really, like, keep it really simple with you, man. Like, why worship Jesus when you could worship the Most High?
Jesus is the Most High.
He ain't the Most High, though.
All right, prove it.
Okay. Do you believe the Most High need to be given authority?
That's a question. Do you have an argument?
I mean, that is the argument. I mean, we
Questions
can have a
are not
conversation.
arguments.
Okay, the argument is this. I believe the Most High don't need to be given authority. Therefore, Jesus cannot be the Most High because he had to be given authority to do something. That's
So
the
your argument starts with what you believe?
I mean, ain't that how an argument work? What the hell you want?
Okay. My argument is I believe the Most High can be given authority. Now what?
Well, okay. I don't got an issue with that. That's what you think. Why do you believe that?
Because in Philippians 2, the Most High, who is Jesus, took on flesh and became a servant.
So you believe the Most High became a servant?
Yep.
And you actually believe in that?
Yep.
So you believe the most? Okay, let me tell you something, man. And look, John, let me go ahead and tell you something. Let me keep it a band with you. If you're the type where you got to be super formal and I can't have a conversation, it might not work. So you might not like my style.
Right. Appreciate you then.
Yeah, all right then.
Isn't Hey Hey the chicken from Moana?
My favorite thing to do is that every time I see, I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden, the guy who plays the chicken, every time I see him on like TV or like a show, I'm like, hey, that's the guy who plays the chicken from Moana.
He does do that. I always forget who it is.
Yeah, so I just forgot his name as well. But he's like super well known and super great actor.
It is Hey Hey.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Good, bro. I'm 18.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah. Well, first, I wanted to mention, like, the first guy, he wasn't asking a question. He was asking for a mutual agreement on his first premise.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the first guy, go talk to him.
Alan.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
43. Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, it's the same logic that you're using can be used against you.
Okay, do it.
So every single thing that you say about God, I could say something else about B. Like yours is A, mine's B.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you choose one over the other?
That's a question, not an argument.
It's still based on an argument, but why would you choose one over the other?
That's a question, not an argument.
So if I made let's just say this: everything you're saying about God,
which is what
I have a sorcerer, whatever it is, whatever you believe in God, whatever it is.
Okay,
mine's the same. It said I call it a sorcerer. So why would you choose one over the other?
If everything was a one-to-one comparison, I wouldn't. I'd have a real problem, a real big contradiction.
You're right. That's the problem.
Right.
It's a contradictory worldview.
Can you show me the one-to-one?
So I believe in the visible ghost that never lies.
Okay.
And everything that you believe, it's the same.
Okay, what is it I believe?
What is it that you believe? Tell me.
Well, you're the one making the argument. You seem to have this presupposition that you already know and that you have an issue and you can show the issue with logic. So show me the issue with logic.
But I want to be intellectually honest. I want to ask you what you believe.
No, you don't. If you wanted to be intellectually honest, you would ask me why I believe what I believe and we start on that foundation. But you didn't. You started with the presupposition. You started with the presupposition that you already know what I know, so make the argument.
I don't know what you know. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what you know. So tell me what you know.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you double back, make the argument.
So you're just don't want to engage. Thank you very much.
Yeah, did want to engage. I literally wanted you to make the
leave?
argument. Yeah, he left on his own.
He literally said, "I believe in an invisible ghost who never lies, and you believe the same thing." And they said, "Well, I do want you to tell. I do want you to tell me what you believe. You know, I just said that I know what you believe, but I want to know. I want to be honest."
The Mr. Griffith. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
You're really
I
quiet.
just wanted to say that I really appreciate what you do, and I've been watching your videos for a long time, and I just recently accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and
Based.
will be getting baptized soon.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
You get a song.
We finally get to do it. Hold on, where is it? You get the song. It's corny and cringe. Now you got to sit there awkwardly.
Everyone congratulate him in the chat.
That was closed, just open the door. The spirit moved and the truth broke through. Now everything old has become brand new. We watched you wrestle, we watched you search. Now you're standing here as part of the church. The angels in heaven are singing tonight. A soul that was lost just stepped into the light. We got hot, we got hot. Welcome home, welcome home. We got hot, we got hot. You're not walking this road alone.
Welcome home, brother. Congratulations. All right, man. Is there anything you wanted to ask while you're up here?
No.
All right. Good luck on your journey. God bless.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's huge, guys. That's huge. Yeah, just so you know, if you come up and tell me that you just got saved, you got to sit through an awkward song. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. You don't have a mic connected. Oh, we got no one else in the queue, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we just hang out. Hang out until we reach the fill the dono bar, then I can leave. There, yeah, all of heaven is rejoicing. It's a huge, huge W. Huge W. You want to talk to me? Hit the request button. Was that AI music? No, I sang it myself. What philosophy books do I recommend for Christians? I'm not deep into philosophy. I've read Philosophy 101. Start with there. Philosophical Foundation for a Christian Worldview. I got like halfway through it, but it was so boring. But definitely important. A lot of good information in there. What I'm really studying right now is logic. That's what I've been in. And then eventually I'm going to use logic for philosophy. There's a book I have right now, Logic for Philosophy. I tried to read it, but I was like, there's too much that I didn't know. So I had to jump back, and now I'm back restudying some basic logic ideas, and then I'll get back into that soon. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
30. I got a question for you.
Okay. Convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, do I have to be baptized to be saved? Or can I?
Ethan, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you hear me this time?
That scared me.
My neighbors can hear you.
Sounded like a robot.
All right, man. Yeah, how
I'm
old are
so
you?
sorry.
Ooh.
I'm 23.
I can hear you, but it sounds terrible.
I'm so sorry. I'm on Opera GX. That's the problem, I'm sure.
I gotta let you go, man. I can't even make out what you're saying.
I don't even know what that is.
Honestly, it sounded like you just said you had AIDS, and like I don't think that's what you said, but that's what I heard. Dante, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hi, how's it going? I'm 24. I'm from New Zealand. How are you?
Good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
New Zealand. Jealous.
Yes, New Zealand. It's a bit early over here. It's the first time I've done something like this. Well, I don't know about doing something so upfront as saying not to worship. more or less, I'm more curious about kind of like, like epistemic humility. Do you know what that is?
Epistemic humility, like the idea that we can't know things and we're going to be humble with it.
Well, yeah, like just allowing like a permissibility about it, like like just allowing different kind of variations of faith in a way, which is why I wouldn't want to discourage you in a way from like not worshiping Jesus.
Okay,
So
well that is
I
the
think, like,
that is the topic, man. So are you here for it or no?
Yeah, well, it gets to the point. The point that I'm kind of getting at is like for example, is like, why is this a challenge in the first place?
All right. Well, if you're not here for the topic, I appreciate your time. You seem like a nice guy, but I'm more interested. People want to talk about the topic.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me turn this around then.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, look, this gets pretty hard because, like, I feel like this question kind of orientates to people that are explicitly
Nice guy, but I just want people to focus on the topic and not like the rhetoric around it.
Enjoy Middle Earth, though.
Enjoy Middle Earth, amen.
Based.
All I can afford to pay a grifter. Keep up the good work. Love y'all. Thank you. Hey, listen, we'll take it. And then also thank you for your donation as well. Appreciate you. You want a burrito? I tell you what, if you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus, I'll buy you a burrito. Philosophy is just feelings. It's nothing to do with truth. It's a slippery slope, should be dismissed. That's actually not true. Philosophy is how we operate and how we work in the world. All right. It's why we think about the things that we think about. Everybody has a philosophy, whether you admit it or not. If a musician made a song, would you take it? If the song was good and actually had like a context for me to use it, but yeah, I would. But if it's not good, I'm going to tell you, like, listen, people sometimes they like, hey man, I want to help out with your channel. Sure. But I'm going to tell you if it's a bad product. So be confident in your product first. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
40.
You got way too much background noise, man.
I'm 40. There's no background noise.
There we go.
Whoa,
Fixed
you
it.
changed something though.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
So I'm going to claim that causing somebody to be blind at birth for the sole purpose of showing off your power decades later is evil.
Okay. Congratulations.
Would you agree?
No.
You wouldn't agree?
Nope.
Why not?
Why should I?
So if I had the power to heal someone who was blind, if I had the cure and I withheld it and let them live blind, let them live disabled for decades, just so that later I could heal them in front of a bunch of people and be like, look what I can do. Look what I did. You don't think that'd be bad?
Yeah, I don't think you should do it, but that's a different category.
How?
Yeah, you're not God.
So it's okay for God to do it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So something can be evil for a person to do, but good for God to do.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Have a great day.
That's a wild thing to be like angry about too. That God can do things that you can't.
All of it is fifis. Somebody probably clip farming, yeah. Yeah. Nobody's really interested in, they're just presuppose that they're right and they don't want to navigate conversations. All right, guys, we still have no one else in the queue. We're having a slow Friday. Well, why am I not? I am debating. The thing is, I'm only debating with people in good faith now. I'm setting boundaries. Come up in good faith, I'll have a debate with you. Come up in bad faith, I'll not have a debate with you. And then you're going to tell me I'm running and clip it, which just proves that you're a bad faith. For the Griff, next time play a song for Abby. I will, because you paid $5.
Yeah, that was so awkward.
Will I ever be a clip farmer? No, I don't. I don't clip. Well, I do. I did post some clips, but I try to make sure that the clips I post are within its context. Morality is subjective. You're the same guy that just came up and said like God's evil. It's actually the guy. Hold on. The guy. It's the same guy. He was just up. It's crazy. You're the guy that was just up, said that God is evil for making a person blind, and now you're in the chat saying morality is subjective. Crazy work. Rob, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Well, I'm good, thanks. 44.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, my argument is, if Jesus didn't know something,
I can't hear you, man.
my argument is, if Jesus didn't know something,
It's
he
just
couldn't have been
louder, but
God.
not better. You're still muffled. Do you have headphones plugged in? If you can you unplug them?
I do actually. Yeah, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Is that off now?
Oh, that's so much better. Thank you. All right, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So the argument is, in the Gospels, Jesus
Mm-hmm.
is quoted as saying that the Holy Spirit won't come until he leaves, or he won't send it until he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But also in the Gospels, it's already present. Zechariah has it, John's mum has it, John has it.
Mm.
So either he didn't know, or
what?
it wasn't true. Or... Did you hear that all right?
Yeah, I don't understand how you're deriving any sort of argument at all from that. Okay, the Holy Spirit showed up in certain cases. The disciples didn't have the Holy Spirit, which is the context of what he was talking to. And he says, when I go, I will send you the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, but how could he have sent it if it was already there?
If I send my wife to go get groceries at one point, and then I say to you, hey, I'm going to send her for you to go get groceries, am I contradicting myself?
So you're saying he was just sending it for the disciples?
Oh my God.
Is that what?
Sam, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I am 35.
You got a weird burping sound going on.
Sorry, that might just be me stumbling through my words.
No, it's not you. It's like an electronic thing. Anyways, yeah, man, convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. Go ahead.
Okay, apologies. I just sort of jumped into the room on the YouTube link and didn't realize I'd be hopping right in, but
I might have to boot you. That can you come back? I'm gonna kick you. You have to come back because the burp, burp, burp. It's not you. It's some sort of connection.
That was so sad. Can you imagine?
The robot frog effect.
Voice.
I'll give him a chance to come back.
Ew.
See how much happier I am now that I'm not talking to douchebags?
Very happy.
Sam, let's fix your mic. Test 1, 2. All right. We gave it the college try. Jose, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Jose jalapeno on a stick. No? Jose jalapeno on a stick. You don't know that?
No. You can't play things.
I'm not going to play it. I'm going to show a picture.
Oh. What the frig?
Jose jalapeno on a stick.
I still don't know what that is.
That's Jose. He's a jalapeno on a stick. How do you not know now? See him?
I see him.
That guy's name is Jose. He's a jalapeno on a stick.
Okay. My gosh. Boom.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm very good. I am 38.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I'll give it my best try.
Okay. Okay.
First, I need to know what your favorite verse in the Gospels is.
Isaiah 42, 1 through 9.
It's not in the
Okay.
Gospels.
Oh, you said Gospels?
That's not in the Gospels.
No, you're correct. Yeah. I don't have a favorite verse in the Gospels.
Okay. Well, let's just take, for instance, the most popular verse, John 3:16.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever shall worship or whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Two very simple questions about that verse. Who wrote it and when was it written?
It was written by John, most likely in like 90 AD.
Okay. Is this the only account of the things that Jesus said or did? Obviously not. We have the other Gospels. So which Gospel was written first?
The scholarly consensus is that it was Mark, but like if you go to tradition, you can make an argument for Matthew, right? The reason that we say Mark is because Matthew and Luke have generally like almost verbatim copies from Mark, but are different from each other in certain ways.
Right, right. So I think we can also say that somewhere between roughly 20, 30, maybe a little more or less years after the events that took place, right? Which puts John, like you said, a long ways away from the events that took place, which is not a deal breaker. It's just establishing some facts.
Well, for historical context, it's not that long. It's actually really early.
Well, that's true, except me being 38, if you asked me to dictate in absolute fact something that happened 30 years ago or even 25 years ago from my own life, I would not be able to do that. And I've lived through the entire thing.
Sure.
Again, not solid proof, but this is something to consider.
Why should I consider it?
Well, because we say John wrote John 3:16, but in reality, most likely there were more than just John in the room composing this document.
Yeah.
And most likely, John may or may not have even been in the room to begin with. So Why should
I conclude any of those things, and what does that have to do with memory recollection? It seems like you're going on to a different point.
Well, just because what we have to do is we have to consider some relative possibilities. John 3:16.
What does this have to do with memory recollection? You brought up that point. Can you substantiate it? Why is that important? Yeah.
Because we are assuming John wrote this. We are assuming that John remembered all of these details explicitly enough for him to write it.
Well, hold on. What do you mean by explicitly? If you're talking about a 1-for-1, no, I don't think that happened.
But do we teach it as 1-for-1? Do we approach it when we tell other people that it is 1-for-1? Well, I think a lot of people would care.
Right. So how does that matter to the subject at hand? The subject at hand is to convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. And why does that matter how another Christian might approach another person about their philosophy towards how we should operate within the scripture? Right. I'm giving you my philosophy. Right. And it's not a verbatim, like 1-to-1 correlate of exactly what happened. But John is telling honest and truthful information about events that took place. So for example, are you married?
I am married.
How long have you been married?
11 years.
Congratulations. Can you tell me about your wedding day?
Thank you. I can.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead. Tell me what happened. What was going on?
I woke up late. Was supposed to go get food for my groomsmen, and I was late. Couldn't do that.
Okay.
I got to the church. They hid my vehicle from me because they were going to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was cloudy.
Okay.
And it was a wonderful day. I remember certain things that people said before I went out onto the. Go ahead.
Sound like a great day, man. Why should I believe any of it happened 11 years ago?
You shouldn't without proof.
So I shouldn't believe that you had a wedding and that it was a cloudy day and that you were late. I should think all these things are false until you give me some sort of like, what? What would you give me to convince me of these events?
I mean, I could give you a certificate, marriage certificate.
That would just tell me that you got married on that day.
Sure. I could give you pictures. I could give you accounts from people that were there, but then again, that's not worthy enough that's not complete trust because people can lie and people can remember things differently.
So you're saying that people should operate in a way where like you tell me about your wedding, I should assume everything you said about your wedding is a lie.
I mean, you have that option if you want to, sure.
Well, I'm not saying I have the option. I'm saying, should I do that? Should that be the way that we operate?
Maybe not the way that we operate, but
would you say
claims.
Yeah. Would you say from just your perspective that you have a pretty accurate account of what happened on your wedding 11 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah. And I'd say you probably do. And I'd say your testimony is probably pretty strong, right? Okay. But even though it's 11 years ago, that's not going to, and I'm not going to say, oh, well, you never had a wedding. It didn't exist. It wasn't cloudy. You weren't late because memories change. Now, maybe you got some things wrong. Maybe you don't know exact colors of the curtains. Sure. That doesn't change that you had a wedding. That doesn't change that you got married to a specific person or these specific people were there. I'm going to, for all intents and purposes, assume that vast majority of the things that you speak about in your wedding were probably pretty close to accurate, even though there might be small, minute things that are off and wrong. Okay. So that's the common sense. And I think it's going to be the same thing in another 10 years. In another 20 years. I think that you're going to have a pretty accurate account of your wedding. Okay. So why should I assume that John doesn't have a good recollection of the events that took place with Jesus?
All right. What evidence do we have? And we're just having a conversation because you're just as you sound educated, and I'm glad to have a person to talk with.
You seem like a great guy so far.
So, what if John didn't write it at all? Does that factor into this anywhere?
What if my grandma had wheels? Would she be a bicycle?
I just got a mental image, and I'm sorry. No, she would not be a bicycle.
Right. So what if John didn't write it? It'd be less trustworthy. Yeah, but I think he wrote it.
Okay. And the cool thing about it is I can't prove that he didn't.
Well, we can use like a probability case, right? So we have all the early church attributing it to John. We have no disagreement within the church of original authorship. And we have every single manuscript where you'd expect to see a name attributing an author. It's attributed to John. And we have eternal critiques within the gospel itself that shows that it was written before the destruction of the temple. So I don't see a reason to say it's not written by John.
Okay. I've always looked at things as you have two boxes in life. You can call this philosophy, it's fine. You either, you have to put something in what you can prove and what you choose to believe. But
I don't think you can prove anything except for mathematical proofs and logical proofs.
Well, there are, and I think that's a really important thing because there are some claims that the church makes directly from the Bible as if they happened written in stone, as if it happened exactly the way this took place, and they should probably be moved into the box of this is what you choose to believe, not what you can prove.
What? No, the church doesn't have this foundation, right? If we could see from the early church fathers that they constantly quote things from memory and they get the gist of the idea, but not the verbatim word. We could see that because when they're quoting scripture, they quote just a single sentence. They get the gist of the idea, but it's not a verbatim quote of what the scripture is. But generally when they're quoting like entire pages or chapters, then you could see it's verbatim because they're going back and reflecting on it. So it's a very common practice for people back then to record gists and ideas from their perspectives. I don't see any reason that we should just throw that out.
And Paul does the same thing. Paul makes some statements in 1 Corinthians that I'm not sure Jesus would agree with. And then by the time he lives a little bit longer. Okay, well, let me give you an example. So Paul is convinced in 1 Corinthians that Jesus is coming back.
I'm gonna let you go, but just 2 seconds on this. I keep getting that thing pop up, and I keep winning every single appeal, but it takes so long to appeal that they can never send gifts anyways.
Yeah.
So like there's like right now, if anybody's on TikTok, this is your window to send gifts before the another thing goes through.
2 minute window.
You got like a 2 minute window. All right, man. So Paul probably thought that Jesus was coming within his lifetime, sure, but in those gospels, there is no direct verbatim word that day is going to happen. Or sorry, in his epistles, it doesn't verbatim say, right? It's talking about a hope, and there's certain like language that's used. It's actually funny because we went over this yesterday on our live. We were looking at it. It's similar to like me saying to my wife, "Hey, you should have hope for Jesus is going to return, and we're going to be united with him." Right? If you just take that at a verbatim word, it seems like the implication is I'm saying that's going to happen in our lifetime. Well, no, that's just a way that Christians speak to each other.
Well, what's interesting about what Paul did is he said there was this person in the community, and they were clearly, wrong, mistaken. Person in the community that was saying, "Hey, I'm a follower of God. I'm a believer in Jesus. I'm a follower of Jesus, but I'm going to continue to have sexual relations with my, I think what was it, stepmom
mother-in-law
or something, mother-in-law." And Paul said, "Look, hey, we went and talked to this guy, and he refuses to repent. He refuses to change. So I don't want you to have anything to do with him. Shun him. Don't eat with him. Don't communicate with him. Don't anything." Now, granted, I understand the level of what's going on. My question has always been, I'm not exactly sure that that's exactly what Jesus would have done with
Matthew,
this
Jesus
man.
taught that in Matthew, right? It's in the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus says, if a brother sins against you, first go to him, right? Tell him of your sin. If he repents, right, rejoice. If he doesn't repent, then go to the church, go to bring 2 or 3 witnesses. Bring the 2 or 3 witnesses. If he doesn't repent, then go to the church. Then the whole church and congregation will be gathered to him. If he still doesn't repent, then you're to treat him as anathema. You're to cast him out, right? So that Satan could be the one that, I'm conflating the 2 verses, but you are to cast him out. For where 2 or 3 witnesses are gathered, it'll be declared in his name. So that's perfectly in line with what Paul is saying.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a mistake on my part then. On my part. So I appreciate your time. I didn't figure I would be able to convince you and win a taco. I'm not really that hungry anyways. But I appreciate the conversation. Thank you for taking my call.
You're a great interlocutor. Have yourself a great day, man. God bless.
Yes. Thank you.
What a nice guy.
Oh, he's back. Jose Jalapeno on a stick. Hello,
Can you hear
how are
me?
you? Yeah, I can hear you. How old are you?
I am 35 years young.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Before we do, the whole Jose Jalapeno on a stick thing,
yeah,
that's like me saying, "Hey, did your kids get touched by your
Yeah, go cry somewhere else. That is definitely not synonymous. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. The guy, yeah, he was desperate for it. Desperate for it. What? The Tushy bidet? What are you talking about? People get offended over nothing. Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's like saying I have no rhythm and I can't dance. Those things are true. I have a very like robotic rhythm because I used to be a rapper and I did chopping, but like a flow rhythm, a swing rhythm, I definitely don't have. It's because I'm white. It's a Jeff Dunham reference. Yep. Oh. Jesus never took a selfie. Boomed, owned. People do get triggered by anything. We got no one in the queue, by the way. We might call it a day. We did hit our dono goal.
Oh, you should read those super chats.
Oh, yeah. Let's do super chats. And then we do have one other person in the queue just hopped up. So do super chats and then we'll do that other person and we'll see how it goes. I think your show is cool and I watch it every day. Thank you. I appreciate you. So my dad passed away over 20 years ago and I can remember him with so much detail. I can describe his smell. I'm sorry, my friend. Listen, I'm sorry your dad passed away, but I can't trust any recollection that you have of your father because it happened 20 years ago. Can't trust it. That's just the atheistic way. Yeah, man. What do you think I got this tattoo for? I hate this tattoo. It's so stupid. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Yo, hello. I'm 19.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I can if you remain honest, though.
Oh, well, I was intending to lie to you and be dishonest. That was my goal. If you're going to start on that
Really?
kind of
Why?
rhetoric, I'm
Why
not going to
was
have
that
a
your goal?
conversation with you. You want to try again?
Okay, sure. Okay, so are you a Trinitarian? Yes or no?
I said yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. So do you believe they're all 100% equal in every way?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say, just by saying that, you've disagreed with like most Christian apologists that you see online.
Okay, let's try this. What's the argument?
Sure. So if they're 100% equal, well, most people say yes. So if they are 100% equal, yeah. 1005?
Does percentage go before or after? I never remember. After.
Yeah. So if they're, yeah. So number 2.
No, not number 2. This is what I keep always forgetting the word. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. If they're 100% equal, that will contradict
material implication. So you need the then here.
What are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying.
Your first premise is a material implication, so you need a then. If they are 100% equal,
What do you mean by material implication?
Well, you're providing an argument. First premise is a material implication. It's an if-then conditional. So you provided the if they are 100% equal, then.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. In John 14:28, it says, "The Father is greater than I."
All right, appreciate your time.
Whoa, why are you running, man?
I'm not running. You're not doing the argument. You're not engaging in faith. You already started with the basis I'm going to be dishonest. I explained to you what you need to do for the first premise, and then you're jumping to a verse.
Genuinely, I just want to say one thing.
Okay, so
no. I just really want to say.
What's the second part of
genuinely,
what is the second part?
Many Christian apologists say.
I appreciate you, man.
Listen, man.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I am 20 years old. How are you doing?
Good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
See, I'm not a Christian myself, but I grew up in a Catholic household.
Okay.
I can try.
Okay.
I'm not atheist, nor am I Christian. I'm agnostic.
Sure.
Believe in science.
Hey, man. Listen, consistent so far.
So, I guess what I'm going to try, my point I'm going to go across is going to be historical and so much, with psychology and all that. So, as you know, the Bible was written in, I think I agree with 4 testaments or 4 different periods of time, with Genesis.
No, the Gospels.
The Gospels,
the Gospels have 4 testaments of Jesus.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
but the Bible itself, Genesis like predates that by thousands of years.
Yes. Yeah. So, as you know, like, they're taught that the earth is 5,000 years old.
No.
No?
No.
Oh. Well, all right. So here's what I'm just going to get at. So the Bible was written, was written thousands of years ago, or just your testaments or your gospels, whatever you guys call
the Bible is written throughout time because the Bible is several books compiled into a single form.
Yes, but
Genesis is not written in the same time as Revelation.
All right, buddy. So,
well, no, that's important. Genesis is written thousands of years before Revelation. That's within the same book.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes. Okay, so here's what I'm getting at. So, how are we supposed to, sit there and take, what was written thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago, whatever time frame, face value when technological advancements and scientific advancements have gained so much that a lot of these things can be disproven. A lot of these things can be explained. And now what I'm going to get at is theological, where it comes in the theological aspect.
Well, hold on. What if we advance? Hold on. You made a first claim, and you're not you got to substantiate it.
Okay.
You don't just get to jump to the second one, like we believe it's true. Substantiate your first claim.
So are you an atheist or are you a Christian? Because,
I'm a Christian.
You're coming across as atheist right now, or Christian atheism.
No, I'm a Christian. What are you
Because
talking
you're
about?
going with absolutes when there is no absolutes to our universe. We don't know what's going on.
I'm not
That's
talking
the
about
point of the Bible.
absolutes. You made a claim. I'm asking you to back up your claim.
The claim that the... Never mind, dude. You're not gonna let me speak.
As he sits here silently.
Never mind. So, my brain's farting. I made it. Well, I forgot what the fucking claim was, dude. You're throwing me off track. What was the claim I said again?
It's your claim. But hey, man, appreciate you. Have yourself a great
No, I
day.
appreciate it. Fucking Jesus, dude.
Yeah, there ain't no way he's...
Bro crashed out because I asked him to substantiate his claim. Okay.
Ain't no way.
Odin, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
How's it going, brother? I'm 32.
Hi, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Sure. I'll try to.
Okay.
Well, I'm also a man of science. I work in the science field. I actually deal with bodies and DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So you know where this is going to go, obviously.
Well, I can assume.
First question is, all right, how can I put this in terms? So, religion was made for the masses. There's no reason or no way you can disprove that. There is no proof that a God or a Jesus wrote the first Bible. How many Bibles and books are there? There's
That's a loaded question.
But it's a question that needs to be asked in a science.
If it's
way.
loaded by definition, it's fallacious.
Okay, sir. I'm not trying to interrupt you, and I'm trying to be very nice with you and have a conversation. So please.
You asked a question. I just am showing you that it's a loaded question. It's fallacious, so therefore I don't have to answer it.
How is it fallacious?
Because it's loaded.
You're jumping back and forth from fallacious and loaded. Can you agree?
A loaded question is fallacious. It's not jumping back and forth. There's fallacy, which is fallacious, and then there's a whole bunch of different types of fallacies. A loaded question is a type. So we have type token distinction, right? We have the type fallacy and we have the token loaded question.
Okay, correct. All right. But can you agree that the Bible was written by a human?
All books are written by humans.
Okay. All right. So let's play theatrics. The first man writing the Bible, how do we know he's not crazy and hearing voices? How do we know this? Dude, I'm not a religious man. But I'm asking you, how do we know that the first person that wrote the Bible, because I can make a book, I can make a religion in 10 minutes.
Okay, so hold on. Do you think the Bible is written by one person?
That's what I've been hearing the first one.
Yeah, there's 40 plus authors for the Bible over 1,500 years.
So you're telling me there's 40 gods?
What?
Because I'm not understanding.
Did I say God wrote the Bible or a man wrote the Bible? Can you remind me when you asked me the question? What did I say?
That's the answer right there.
Can you just remind me
a human wrote the Bible, not God.
That's what I said. I said all books are written by people.
Okay. All right. And my second thing I want to get into, I'm trying to pick my words wisely because I don't want to make anybody mad, but why are the texts so inaccurate in all of them?
It's again a loaded question. I don't have to answer it.
Then why are you asking us to convince you that Jesus isn't real if I can't ask you the real simple questions?
Because you're asking fallacious questions. You need to ask non-fallacious questions, and I will answer them.
A question is a question. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Okay,
that's like saying.
All right.
That's like going to Mexico and saying.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you prefer one dick or two dicks in your mouth?
I prefer your wife's vagina.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question. Why won't you answer a simple question?
Because you won't.
Oh, you can't answer simple questions?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. You see why you want to answer it? Yeah.
No. I'm trying to convince you by making you realize that everything the church has done has been done by humans. There's
so
no proof.
you agree you
land.
you don't have to answer loaded questions. So do you want to ask a non-loaded question?
This is I told you at the beginning, you know where this is going.
Where?
And the reason why
actually I thought I had an idea where I thought it was going and you didn't go there.
It's because I am right. I'm right. There is no proof that God or Jesus exists. There's mammals.
Okay, can you define yeah, hold on. Can you define proof for me?
Sure, fossils.
That's
bodies,
an example.
mummies,
I want a definition.
pyramids.
Those are examples.
What a definition, example. I'm giving you both.
I just need a definition.
The pyramids are real. There's no proof of God.
Yeah, what's your definition of proof?
I don't know. I'm not a when it comes to this, I'm not a religious man.
Okay, so if you don't know what proof is, how do you know you have it?
How do you know that God is?
Are you going to answer my question with a question?
You haven't even answered my first question.
It was loaded. We agreed it's loaded and you don't have to answer loaded questions.
And so are your answers and questions.
You can't have a loaded answer.
So right now,
bro,
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
You said it's relevant because you said I have loaded answers. So it is relevant. You want to try again? Listen, man, we start at the beginning.
Okay. All right. So you know what? I'm just going to go into this head first. I'm not going to censor myself.
Well, no, you are, or you're going to get kicked.
All right. So you're telling me that this omnipotent,
I didn't tell you anything.
Omnipotent force. No, I'm just.
I've made no claims.
Can I preach?
No.
In your terms, as you Christians say?
No, you can't preach.
Why? Well, why? Well, I'm not preaching. I'm trying to.
Don't do drugs, kids. All right.
Oh, wow.
Not worthy of attention. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello.
Not worthy of attention. Hello, how are you? You got to mute me in the background. You got to listen to me on this program.
I want to start.
All right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm good, and I'm 18.
All right, bro. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah. So, I guess to preface, I just want to know what denomination you are.
I don't share my denomination.
Okay. So, I guess we could go back to the start. Let's go to the garden. So, God is the start of everything, correct? Nothing came before God? And you also agree that God is all-powerful?
What's your argument?
Do you believe this?
What's your argument?
Okay. So God is all-powerful. He created everything. He was the start. Mm-hmm. So God creates a garden, right? Then he creates two people, perfect, in the image of him. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Two perfect people, okay? Then he places an intrinsically evil tree inside that garden, also creating Satan, allowing Satan to turn from him, allowing him to stay alive, allowing Satan into that garden to tempt two human beings who have zero knowledge of good and evil before eating from the tree. So it is the same thing as a dad sitting his kid down and saying, look, don't touch this stove because it will burn you. But the kid's like 2 months old, right? So this 2-month-old baby, he sits his kid down and says,
can you land the plane? You don't need to do like this whole like super analogy to make an argument, right? So your argument is simple. God did something I think he ought not do, therefore he is not real. Is that your argument?
Yeah, I believe that if God exists, that he is not a good God, he is evil.
Okay, congratulations.
Okay, no. So then let me ask you a question then. So why would God create two evil
Questions aren't
two
arguments,
evil
unless it's a clarifying question for your argument.
Okay, how does it make sense that they would be able to have the capacity to know not to eat from the tree if they haven't yet eaten from the tree that grants them the capacity to know good from evil?
Yeah, because Eve showed that she had the capacity to understand that when the snake said to her, hey, you should eat from the tree. And she says, no, we shouldn't. God said that we shouldn't do it. So she had the capacity to understand that she ought not do something.
So then they did know right from wrong before they ate from the tree that showed them right
They
from
knew
wrong.
what they should do and should not do, yeah.
How did they know that if they hadn't yet eaten from the tree of good and evil?
You're conflating what one ought do versus good and evil.
Well, who gave them that thought process?
God.
Okay, and why was it necessary to put the tree there?
Yeah, questions aren't arguments.
Why was it necessary to put that tree there?
I could say just because he wanted it for the kicks and giggles and wouldn't disprove or prove anything.
What? How does that make sense? So
how does it make sense what you're saying? Your argument is God did something I think he ought not do, therefore he doesn't exist. That's like saying Donald Trump did something I think he ought not do, therefore he shouldn't exist.
No. My argument is that there is no such thing as free will. Because
you didn't start on that premise at all. Now you're jumping. You're doing what's called a red herring. But go ahead. You make your argument that there's no such thing as free will.
No. You haven't. Okay. Wow, you just cut people off, don't you? Okay. There's no such thing as free will because if God did not put the thought process of good and evil into these two human, mind you, they are perfect in His image. They are perfect. So everything they did went exactly how He had planned. And also because He knew it was going to happen.
Make the argument. You're just making assumptions.
It's not an assumption.
It seems to be an assumption. I don't come to those conclusions.
You're incorrect, and I'm correcting you.
Make the argument for it.
I'm making the argument right now.
Okay,
if God is perfect and all powerful.
Okay, if hold on, where's my cap lock on? If G is P and AP.
God is perfect and all powerful, then He was able to create any reality that He wanted.
Then He freaking cap locks. Then He, my goodness, He can create anything He desires. We'll do AHD.
Okay. Meaning.
Well, there's no meaning yet. You need a second premise.
Okay. All right. So if God's perfect and all powerful, and He can create any reality He wants, and then He creates these two humans perfectly.
Right. You're giving analogies. I need the argument, right? So if God is perfect and all powerful, then He can create anything He desires. Premise two. Premise two is you need a second premise.
Can I just say meaning? What are you talking about? What do you mean I need a second premise?
You're trying to give an argument, right? So for an argument, we need a second premise to make an argument. You keep saying I keep making arguments. No, I pull up the paper when I show people when I say, hey, you're not making an argument. You just seem to be assuming things. You said I'm not assuming things. So I'm trying to show you how you're just assuming things, right? For it to not be an assumption, you have to provide me an argument. I can help you walk through it. Like I'm not just trying to knowledge gap you here. I'm trying to. We can walk through it together. So for this to be an argument, you need a second premise that works with the first premise.
Okay. So morality, Christians believe morality is objective because of God, because of the Bible, because of the Word of God. Anything that God says to be good is good to Christians' perspective, and anything that God says to be bad is bad to Christians' perspective. Yes?
Well, then you just debunked your own argument.
No, it's not because
because you just said in an internal critique. Hold on, you gave an internal critique. You said in the Christian worldview, anything that God says is good. So therefore, anything He said was good.
Yes, but people misinterpret what God is. Like, it's impossible to think that, like, the God of the Bible is a good God, given all of the
Well, then
evil
that's
things
not
that
an
he has
internal
done.
critique anymore. You said within the Christian world, are we doing an internal or external critique?
Well, are you not a Christian?
I'm a Christian. So if we're doing an internal critique, you said the Christian paradigm is anything that God says is good. Well, therefore, anything he says is good.
No, but we have to relativize it to something outside the Christian world in order to
Then it's not an
compare and
internal critique
contrast.
anymore. It's an external critique.
When did I say it was an internal critique?
Well, I'm asking you, which one are we
said
doing?
that. You said that.
Is it
We
an
can do an
internal or
critique.
external critique? Which one?
We can do an external critique.
Okay, it's an
matter.
external critique. Cool. Give me the foundation of what good is.
There is no such thing as good or bad.
Okay, then he did nothing bad. Because there's no such thing.
No, because to the Christian perspective, there is bad.
Okay, then that's an internal critique. Which one is it?
Bro, you see, oh my gosh, you cannot relativize Christianity if you do not compare it to something outside Christianity.
Either it's an, okay,
have-
so here, I'm going to show you the issue. If it's an internal critique and you say, in the eternal Christian worldview, anything that God says is good, well, then there's no issue because everything that God said is good, right? It doesn't matter if you disagree with it or not. It's just good because he said it. If it's an external critique and you tell me there's no such thing as good and bad, therefore he did nothing bad because there's no such thing. You have a problem here. You have no foundation to say what he did is wrong.
Say that one more time. Say that
So
one more time.
yeah, no problem. So from you're saying if it's an internal critique within the Christian worldview paradigm, you said Christians say whatever God says is good. Okay, well, if that's the case, then anything that God said is good. You can't say it's wrong. If it's not the Christian worldview, if it's an external critique.
Why can't
Hold on.
on.
If it's not the Christian worldview, it's an external critique. You say nothing bad actually exists. Bad doesn't exist. So therefore, God did nothing bad because bad doesn't exist.
Okay, so no. So my argument is that when Christians look at moralities and try to objectivize it in the Bible, they fail to see how hypocritical God is from the start of the Bible. So
Okay, why is being a
take-
hypocrite bad? Oh, I forgot to appeal it that time. Oh, whatever. I hit okay instead of appealing. I guess we've been limited for views now. Hold on.
Why is being a hypocrite bad? I think there's a wait, what? Why would being a hypocrite in the Bible not be bad? I feel like that's the biggest issue non-Christians have with the Bible is that it's hypocritical.
Why is being a hypocrite bad?
Because if God's commands are final and they're the end all be all of every argument, then he can't contradict himself.
What? Of course, yeah. So again, where does God say that God ought not be a hypocrite?
Where I feel like that's something that's assumed.
So you know what they say about
Wait.
assumptions, right? It makes an ass out of you in mumptions.
Everything is an assumption.
Yeah, it makes an ass out of you in mumptions, though.
So you assume God's real.
I don't assume it.
Okay, then give me the distinction between assumption and belief.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Give me the distinction between assumption and belief.
Why should I do that? That
If
has
you
nothing to do with what I believe and
It
why.
does.
How?
Okay, so all you're doing right now is you're just deflecting every single question that you don't
I'm
have
not
an answer
deflecting.
for, saying that it doesn't have anything to do with the argument. So
You're
then I have
asking
to bring up a
questions that
different
are
topic.
irrelevant.
See, you're saying it's irrelevant, but you're asking me to premise my own argument. So if I find it
I'm
relevant,
asking you to back up
how
your
are you
own
gonna-
argument. Yeah.
Imagine.
And then as soon as I ask you a question, you just
Yeah,
deflect.
the questions are relevant to the situation because my belief
It's
system
not
has nothing to do with
irrelevant. It's not
justifications.
irrelevant at all. It's
Yeah,
not
my
re-
belief
What is the
structure has nothing to
difference?
do with justifications.
I'm trying to deconstruct your belief structure,
And you're
your
doing
whole
a terrible
point of why
job.
it's- because you won't answer a single question because you can't.
I did answer your question.
Which question did you answer?
Belief systems have nothing to do with justifications. You either
I
have a
didn't ask
justification
that.
or you do
I
not have a
didn't ask that.
justification.
I asked, what is the difference between an assumption and a belief?
Can you give me the relevance to the question?
I will. If you assume, you're saying that
Mm-hmm.
assumptions, like borderline basic, completely lame down. You're saying that assumptions make a human stupid. So if you believe that, then you can't also believe that assumptions and belief are the same thing, but they are.
What?
Assuming something is real and believing something is real is the same thing.
So
because you can never
so
prove
that then
so
it's
you
a loaded
assume.
then it's a loaded question because I asked you the relevance and you just told me the relevance is that they're the same thing. So why are you asking me for the distinction?
Because I believe it's the same thing, which discredits your entire argument. But you're saying
Okay.
that it's not the
How
same
does it
thing.
discredit my
So now
argument? I haven't presented one.
because you're saying assumption makes you bad, and I'm saying that believing in Christ is an assumption.
Yeah,
You're saying
assumptions.
that
I
my
said
entire
I
argument.
used an idiom. I said, assumptions, right? It makes an ass out of you and me. Makes an ass out of
And
you
what does
and
that mean?
options.
And what does that mean? And what does
Yeah,
that mean?
generally assumptions means you have no justification to believe it.
Perfect. And I believe that you have no justification to believe in God. And I believe that
Based
assumption.
off what?
I've literally just talked about it. Like I spent
What
the whole first 5 minutes.
Chad, was I out of the room when he made an argument for why I have no justification to believe in God? Was I out of the room when that happened?
Okay, then what? Give me 3 sentences. What's your justification for believing in God?
The historic reportage model. I'll do it in 3 words.
Okay, so you believe the Dead Sea Scrolls were real?
All right, man. I appreciate your time.
No,
I
okay,
didn't
so
mention anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls, but God bless.
Okay, so explain what that is then.
You know what he did? He made an assumption.
That was rough.
What do we got? I'll do 10 more minutes. Not worthy of attention. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Already.
Was he?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, come back another time. That hurt my ears.
Dan, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Oh, hello.
Hi. How old are you?
I'm all right. I'm 37.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, let's talk a little, all right? Jesus was all-knowing, wasn't he? Is that how normal people try to resist sin, by being all-knowing? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Just waiting for you to say something of substance.
Well, why was his sacrifice acceptable? That's not the human experience. If you die for humans, that's not the human experience, to be all-knowing. I mean, you cannot take him by surprise like the rest of us are taken by surprise by Satan, right? Why worship him?
What's the argument?
Why worship him if he did not do anything impossible?
What? Why worship him if he did not do anything impossible?
Yes. He was all-knowing. So every attack from Satan, he already knew.
What is your argument, bro?
He was all-knowing.
Say it again. Say it again. I'll absolutely clarify it. Last chance. What's your argument?
He was all-knowing, so he knew every attack from Satan. He was not taken by surprise.
This doesn't follow.
So it wasn't impossible for him to sin, right?
Why was it impossible?
Because he was all-knowing.
Say all-knowing again. Go ahead.
Well, let's read Romans 8.
Golden Wolf. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
You're arguing Bible verses to a person who does not prescribe any or maybe Islamic verses, whatever it is from the Quran, right?
How old are you?
I don't prescribe to these
about
views.
the Quran.
How old are you?
That's my whole point. I don't think any Abrahamic
How old are
faith
you?
is compatible.
Okay, I gotta mute you. I'm gonna unmute you. You need to tell me your age or I'm gonna boot you. Hey, that rhymed. That even had a flow to it. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. How old
The
are you?
big three can fully.
Yapping.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 44.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I'm not sure, but I'll try. However, first, I would like you to just maybe define a little bit about what you mean by Jesus in this case, because you said earlier that you don't share your denomination. I just want to know like what kind of Jesus you're talking about here.
Jesus is the second person in the triune God who incarnated on earth in the flesh and died for our sins upon the cross and resurrected again.
Okay, so I assume that I'm just trying to be clear. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but I assume you reject the Gnostic Jesus that has a very similar definition.
The Gnostic Jesus is nowhere similar. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Have you read the Gnostic texts? I have. They're very different.
Yeah. But I just wanted to know what kind of Jesus, because there's a lot of them out there. And so I was just curious of which one you kind of were defending. But
the historical Jesus.
I don't know about that. But when you say you define Jesus in that way, and you say you're a Trinitarian, and I imagine you're not talking about Eastern Orthodox Trinitarian, but Roman Catholic?
I hold to aspect relational.
Okay, I'm not sure that really matters in this case, but I just wanted to try to get the definition so I knew what you're talking about.
Why'd you ask if it doesn't matter?
Because I'm trying to get the definition so I can understand like what version, since there's a lot of them, and there's not really agreement or consensus in the Christian world on even the Trinitarian doctrine. So I was just curious, like, which one that you subscribe to, so I could try and make my argument towards that
Perspectivism.
Okay. So the reason why I think you should stop worshiping Jesus is because, number one, there's no consensus on what that is, not even in your own faith. And for the same reason that you probably don't believe in Vishnu or Shiva, those would be the same reasons why I think you should stop worshiping Jesus.
Okay, what's the reasons I don't believe in Vishnu?
I'm assuming you don't, but I would imagine if you...
No, I don't, but you said for the same reasons. So what are the reasons?
I would imagine the reasons would be you don't think it's true, you think the stories are fake, the culture is probably...
No, those are just tautologies. So what are the reasons that I concluded Vishnu is fake?
I don't know specifically.
Then why are you making assumptions about my worldview and argumentation if you don't know?
Because you're not defending Vishnu or Shiva or Buddha or any others. You're defending Jesus. So I mean, that's
not the thing. You're right. You're right on the assumption that I think they're false. But you said for the same reason I think they're false, I should think Jesus is false. So therefore, you must know what my justifications were. What were they?
I don't know exactly.
Then why are you making assumptions on my argument?
Because you have a prompt that says Jesus and not Vishnu or Shiva.
Right. So you're correct in the conclusion, but you're saying for the same justifications I reject Vishnu, I should also reject Jesus. So what are those justifications?
Well, why don't you tell me why you don't?
I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let you double back. Right? You started an argument based off the assumptions that you know what I believe. So tell me what I believe.
I don't know. I don't know you.
Then why are you making assumptions based off what I believe?
Because you have a prompt that doesn't include those other deities.
How are you not comprehending this? Okay, so you're correct on the prompt, right? That's not an assumption, right? Convince me to stop worshiping Jesus implies that I do worship Jesus, which means I most likely don't worship. Yeah, you're correct, which means I most likely don't worship Vishnu. But here's the issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
The entailment of that is what you're saying is that for the same reasons I reject Vishnu, I should also reject Jesus. Then you must know why I reject Vishnu.
Okay, you don't believe in that other deity. That's
correct.
All.
Why do I reject it?
Probably your upbringing. I don't know.
So you don't know. So then why would you assume that by the same reasons that I reject Vishnu, I should also reject Jesus?
Because I can make that assumption because of your prompt. Your prompt is not.
Make the argument. Let's see. Show me how you can make that argument. Go ahead. Based off the prompt.
I could say that it's a reasonable, like, court of law.
That's a conclusion. Make the argument how you can make the inference on how you know the mechanism in which I denied Vishnu because of the conclusion.
Because you don't have that in your subject matter, in your prompt. Your prompt is not convince me to stop worshiping Jesus, Vishnu, Shiva, Allah.
Great. Okay. I don't know how you're not getting this. Let me explain it again. You are correct on the conclusion. Listen, Linda. You're correct on the conclusion. I do not worship Vishnu. You had a justification to say that. Let me finish. You had a justification to say, I do not worship Vishnu because it says I worship Jesus. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. You said you know the mechanism on how I came to the conclusion.
I did not say
yes, you did.
mechanism.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because you said, and I'll quote you, for the same reasons I do not worship Vishnu should be the same reasons I do not worship Jesus. Did you or did you not say that?
Yeah, I did say that.
Okay, great.
I did not say mechanism.
Great. Awesome. So now we're on the same page. For the same reasons I do not worship Vishnu is the same reasons I do not worship Jesus. Now, my friend, tell me what those reasons are.
I can't tell you those exact reasons. I can only assume what they could be.
Oh, so you don't know what the reasons are I reject Vishnu?
No, and I don't think it matters that much.
Oh, our justifications for our beliefs don't matter.
That's not what I said.
That's literally what you said.
In this case, it doesn't matter that you aren't sharing with me your reasons for not believing in Vishnu. I can infer based on your prompt that you don't believe them. Can you give me the symmetry connection based off the conclusion how that draws the mechanism? No, I can't.
Okay, so then you can't assume it.
Nate, the prompt that you have is assuming one deity. And correct. The reason why, I don't know the reason why you didn't include Vishnu, Shiva, Allah, all the other millions of deities that are out there in the world. Yeah. I don't know why you didn't include that. You don't need to, but I can assume that you lack belief in those other deities because you subjectize Jesus in the prompt, right?
No. How do you draw that conclusion? Can you show me the connection between the two? You said, therefore, the same reasons I reject Vishnu are the same reasons I reject Jesus. What are the reasons? What's the reason? You said that you gave a category for reason. What is the reasons? You should know it.
The reason is that you didn't put it in the prompt.
No. Again, so what are the reasons? So I don't know how you don't know how to listen, right? Let's try again, and I need you to answer the question when I ask it. All right, ready? Let's try again. What is the reasons?
I don't know. Like I already
said. So then if you don't know what the reasons are, then how do you know I applied the same type of reasoning that would reject Vishnu versus Jesus?
I don't know that.
Okay. So then why did you draw that conclusion?
Because of circumstance.
So you're just guessing.
Just like circumstantial evidence in.
So you're just guessing. You're guessing.
It's not guessing.
You literally are guessing.
If you had a different prompt, it would be different, right? But you don't.
My friend, you're this close to being called a silly goose. You just admitted several times that you cannot give me the reasoning, but you're assuming that the reasoning is the exact same. And you're saying because we have a conclusion here. The conclusion here is Jesus is true, Vishnu is false. So therefore, you're assuming the reasoning is the same. Like it's like, hey, the same reasoning that made me conclude Vishnu is false should also make me conclude that Jesus is false. Therefore, you must know what the reasoning is.
Do you? You don't believe in Vishnu, right?
Correct. I don't believe in Vishnu.
Okay, so then let's just move on from that because I don't think that either one is going to make any difference. You have an affinity for one deity.
Justifications. All right, man. You're retarded, but I appreciate your time.
There's no need to make name calls, dude. Come on. I thought that was not a Christian thing to do.
I'm not name calling. That's like saying the sky is blue. What time do we got? All right, that's it. We got to call it a day. I was hoping to end on a good one, but that is insane. That is insane.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up and witness the silliest goose you've ever seen. You walked in here with your shoes untied, tripped on nothing, fell on your pride. Tried to play it cool, but we all saw you are the silliest goose, that's the law. You spilled your drink on your own shirt, then blamed the cup, made it worse. Everything you touch turns to chaos. You are the silliest goose, no pause. You are the silliest goose, running around. sent a text to the wrong person, made the whole situation worsen. Tried to unsend, but it was too late. You are the silliest goose, mate. You wore 2 different shoes today. Didn't notice until halfway through your presentation at work. You are the silliest goose, you burr. You are the silliest goose, running around all fast and loose. You are the silliest goose. What you doing, there's no excuse. Honk, honk, here you come. You are the silliest goose, hon. Round and round the goose goes, where it stops nobody knows. Flapping wings without a care, silly goose everywhere. You walked into a glass door, you locked yourself out once more. You forgot what you were saying mid-sentence. You are the silliest goose. No prevention. You are the silliest goose. The silliest. Running around all fast and loose. You are the silliest goose. Silly goose. Making mistakes like there's some kind of juice. Honk, honk, water along through. You are the silliest goose. Boo. Silliest goose. Silly, silly. Silliest goose. Hong Kong. You are the silliest goose. Circus music fades with honk.
Abby, can you ban the person in the shorts chat? You'll see who they are. Listen, I can only help you walk through it so many times, and if you're going to triple down, double down, quadruple down, and just kind of like stay firm in your stupidity, a little bit of shame goes a long way, right? Hopefully he learns from it. I've been shamed. It happens. It's part of life. That's it for today, guys. That's it. I can't do any more. We tried to have some good conversations. We set some boundaries, and then they just find a way to get through and just like poke at you. We did have some great conversations today, though. That was the case. Supers. We'll do supers. Do you know who it was?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to mute us. All right. God made man after everything else in the garden. That's true. Can I preach? Also, JTBC, I'm not preaching. Oh, my goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. Yeah. They come up very hostile right off the bat. I really appreciate how this ministry ministers is such a ministerial manner. John and Abby are the mightiest ministers in all of Christian ministry. Can you ban him?
I can't.
Why can't you ban him? We don't sympathize with him just because he's in a wheelchair. He gets treated like everybody else, okay? Ban him for being a douchebag. All right, folks. I'm going to do a quick prayer and a plug, and then you can come over to YouTube and we'll answer some questions over there for like 5 minutes. Our Father is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lord, you are good. I ask that you walk with everybody that came in today, even those that came against us. If we're wrong, correct us and put us the right path. But if those that come against us are wrong, correct them. Forgive us of our sins. Never turn your face from us. Continue to give us grace. Give us opportunities to share the gospel. Give us opportunities to be more Christ-like, and let your will be done in our lives, and let us be at peace with that. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God is good. We are not. All right, folks, if you want to support me, you can support me on Patreon, Super Chats. Come over to YouTube. You should be subscribing to that. That's the main source of information. We are still looking for an editor. That's something that we need to put on our list. Somebody who works for really cheap and does a lot of work. We're not paying much. But, hey, once we get there, we will pay you a lot. Like, I don't want to be cheap, right? I want to pay what's deserved. And then we're going to hang out in the Discord a little bit later if anybody wants to help me figuring out what we're going to do with the website. Right now, Patreon, we're not offering anything extra. It's just to support the channel. If you want to help us get an editor, we have a GoFundMe. And then, of course, Super Chats go to maintenance, life, bills, all those types of things. I appreciate everybody who is supporting. We also have the Discord if you want to be part of the community. There are a bunch of jackasses over there, but we love them anyways. So if you want to be part of the jackass community, Discord links in the bio. Make sure you're smashing like, following, doing the things that you need to do. We will see you all next time. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are live. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do different things just on YouTube only. So if you want to participate on that, again, Big John Steele on YouTube. If not, guys, God bless you all. We'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a great day. What do you guys think about me setting the boundaries? You're losing the Jerry Springer aspect of the show. But my goodness gracious, it's helping my mental health. What do you guys think? One of the things I want to set a hard boundary to is people, you're running. Those type of people I don't want to talk to. Stop streaming, stop watching, and I will. It works like that. If you want me to stop making content, stop watching the content. As long as this keeps paying my bills, I'll keep doing it. Boundaries are healthy, yeah. It's good for conversations. I notice we're not getting as many viewers, though. When we do the Jerry Springer stuff, we get way more viewers. I don't know, actually, how many viewers do we have on YouTube today? Obviously, it's going to be lower now because we're ending it.
I don't know because I have it set on the super chats instead. So I can go back, but yeah, I get it, but it's ended now, so it's not going to be accurate.
So like
300?
Yeah, 300 people watching on YouTube right now, which is good. So we had about 300, about in total, just shy of 500 people watching today. We want way more than that, though, for sure. Way more. The goal is to like God Logic level and level of viewers when we go live. That's the goal. See, all he cares about is money. No, but I do care about money. It's crazy. If you care about a thing, it must be the only thing you care about. No, we do care about money here. We need to pay our bills and we need to, make sure we don't end up in poverty and take care of people around us. So yeah, money's important. 300, it's less than 140. You can't even tell the truth about numbers. You can see, are you retarded? We're live in multiple places, you
counting
idiot.
And adding.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, when we do the Jerry Springer live, we usually get up to like 1,000 viewers. So it's like a benefit and negative. I have better mental health when I look for genuine conversations. We get a lot less viewers. Mm-hmm. It's 140 when you said 300, you liar. We have multiple. Okay, my God, ban that person for being retarded.
Yeah, don't waste your time. That's not worth the energy. They can't figure that out.
You can't figure that out. You're just proving my point. My goodness gracious. A Christian calling people retarded. Yeah, sure, you're a Christian, but you want me to show you all the verses where Jesus called people stupid and fools? Yeah, so we were live on, X, we were live on TikTok, and we were live on Shorts, and we're live on Longs. The combination between the Shorts and Longs is about a 300, right? TikTok had about 150 on average today. We got up to about 300 at one point. I have no idea how many are watching on X. No clue.
Probably none, to be honest.
Retard is a slur now. Stupid file aren't. A slur, who gets to decide that? I haven't decided that. Yeah, I'm live on X too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's 2 live streams on YouTube. There's a horizontal live stream, which our main people go to, and then we have a vertical live stream where most new people come in. I bet I could make you say out loud, you don't believe in Jesus. Have boxing gloves. What? Yes, I possess boxing gloves. What's your point? What does that have to do with Jesus? By main people, you mean good people. That is, yes. Yeah. Usually it's the good people that watch the horizontal form. We have an actual song for people in the Shorts chat, because usually all you guys in the Shorts chat are douchebags. I'm not saying all of you are. There's probably some lurkers there that are just watching, and obviously we have our mods. But most people who come into the Shorts chat, you're usually douchebags. We have a song even for you.
Into the trenches with no protection, where reason dies and chaos reigns. The Shorts chat battlefield where nothing remains. We march into the spam and the bots. The brain rot takes everyone we've got.
Why isn't Little John on anymore? I don't know. Ask him. He has an open invitation anytime he wants. He never takes it. He never takes it. Will lead nobody to God this way. Just a low IQ clown. You must not have been here earlier. We had somebody who came up, said, I've been watching your show for a long time and I just found Jesus and came to God and I'm getting baptized. That happened today. If I'm a mod here, am I a mod there too? I'll be a soldier in the... You are, yeah. Yeah, if you're a mod on the channel, you're a mod on all the lives.
It's brutal over there. You're not obligated.
My wife is greedy? My wife is greedy? My wife met me. I was homeless. Okay. Well, you met me before I was homeless, but she knew me when I was homeless. When I asked my wife to marry me, I was living in an apartment as big as this room. I was driving a 1996 PT Cruiser that kept breaking down. And I'm pretty sure I didn't have a job at the time. Did I? I did at the start, and then I lost it.
Yeah, you lost it during COVID.
No, because I came back and I had it after COVID, and then I lost it because of the HR thing, right?
Oh,
yeah, that happened.
The well, not HR. It was.
Yeah, it was the HR thing because they kept giving
permanent. It's just the seniority.
Yeah, somebody had seniority,
yeah, but you say
so they
HR
pushed
thing,
me out.
It makes you sound like you got fired.
No, I didn't get fired. No, somebody else had seniority, and I got pushed out. So, but that only happens because of HR.
I did domesticate him.
Guilty as sock. We do want to do that. Yeah. Most handsome apologist. 1, John. 2, homeless John. Blitz is friends with Dillahunty, or however you spell it, who is a joke. I don't think Dillahunty is a joke. I think he just does what he does, man. That's what he does. He believes what he believes, and he's made a career out of it. I got no issues with that. I think he's a little bit of a hypocrite. He dishes out, but he can't take, right? Him walking out on the conversation with Andrew Wilson was like, bro, the amount of times you have talked so poorly and so down about Christians and their beliefs and how stupid they are. And then Andrew Wilson does the same thing. He never even insulted you. He just says the beliefs are stupid, and then you walked out. That was crazy. That was a bad look. He never has good arguments, just rhetoric. Yeah, for the most part, he's just rhetorical. I'm not convinced arguments. New subscriber, thank you so much. How old was Noah? I have no clue. How old was he? Do I have my yes, my testimony is on YouTube. Yeah, it is on YouTube. I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Dillahunty either, but I don't just hate him because he's on the other side. Like, if there's a Christian version of Matt Dillahunty, you guys would love him. Actually, I'm pretty sure there is. Sam Shamoon, except Sam Shamoon presents arguments. Noah's 500 years old. Okay. I can make stickers, can't really edit a video. Sorry. Well, you can send me stickers if you want. How long have I been a Christian? I'm excited to hear your testimony. 5 years, 6 years? 5 years.
5.
I think 5 years. Yeah, I just had my 5-year Christian anniversary. You mentioned Guilty as Sock on Discord the other day. We are going to do a Guilty as Sock at some point. There's a lot of things I promise and I don't keep. I'm working on it. All right, folks. I love you all. God bless. Thank you for hanging out today. Have yourselves a great day.